How do you get bored of Dean? How's that even possible? Yeah, I do love Dean though. Hey, Bella. Yeah, I was over on John's stream as well, and then I realized how late it is. Yeah, John's awesome. There we go. Alright. Got the drop coming. Can't pause it yet. The drop's coming. Fuck yeah. God. Okay. All right, we can get the call in now. All right, I see you, Euro. We'll get you up in here. And then Jaden, we'll get you up in a second as well. Hello?
Yo, what's up, man?
Oh, okay, cool. Here, I'm going to get up another co-host as well. Give me one moment. Hey, Jaden. All right, Euro, you're over the age of 18, brother?
Yeah, I'm 19.
Okay, cool. Which religion do you follow?
Christianity.
All right, man. What you got for us today?
Okay, so I just want a little quick question. Do you know who, okay, if you saw God and he came down and he told you that, hey, I am God, I am the Christianity God, would you believe in Jesus Christ?
There would still need to be evidence that I am not hallucinating.
Okay. What if you see him perform a miracle?
There would need to be evidence that I'm not hallucinating.
Like I said, what if he performs a miracle?
Hallucination.
What do you mean by evidence?
Evidence. Facts and information leading to a true conclusion. I need to prove that that miracle is true and actually caused by some divine unicorn. I need to prove that I'm actually seeing this and it's not a hallucination in my brain. You need to test these things.
Okay. Well, there's been many times where people have mocked God and they have collapsed in saying that. Do you think that's just a?
It's called coincidence. You ever heard of coincidence, not causation?
So you're telling me if
So
someone
just
collapsed,
because a bird is sitting on a steel beam that is bent, did that bird bend the beam? Guess
a
what? If
bird
you
is
actually look into
completely
those
different from a
if
human
you actually look
being.
into those conspiracy theories, you'll find out that she actually had, like for the lady, for instance, that fell, had fucking prior conditions, you numbnut. These people had health issues.
Well, there's difference between a
People
bird and a
collapse
human being.
all the fucking time when they're on stage. There's so many things that can happen. If you buckle your knee too tight, you can fucking collapse. So no, that is not evidence for a god. Someone happened to mock God and happened to fall. Prove God did it. You can't. There's no justification for that stupid claim.
Stupid claim.
Yeah, it's a stupid claim. Same as it would be stupid to say a unicorn made her fucking fall. It would be stupid because they don't exist. There's no
Yeah, but
justification.
There's a difference between a bird and a human.
Yeah, it is very unlikely. Here's the deal. You have evidence of a bent steel beam. You have evidence of a bird on
A
it.
bent steel beam. What do you, evidence of a steel like?
You having a hard time
bend?
tracking the analogy?
No,
You need
I
a
just
second?
no stuttering. Of a steel beam bending.
And a bird being on it.
Is there evidence to prove that? Yeah, I mean, I
No.
guess the bird was standing on it. I mean,
This is an analogy to explain correlation is not causation. Just because the bird is on a bent beam doesn't mean the bird bent the beam. You have to provide a causal mechanism. Just because someone prayed and something happened doesn't mean God. Just because someone mocked and something happened doesn't mean God. You need to find out the cause for the effect.
well, if I say put chicken on waffles, that doesn't make any sense.
So you're just trolling now.
We are Charlie Kirk. We carry the flame.
Would you like to provide evidence for God, or do you just want to like concede
I can
that you're an
provide
idiot?
evidence that Charlie Kirk was real. Charlie Kirk
Yes, he was.
moving like El
Would you like to
Yagami.
provide evidence for God, though?
Dean Withers.
Would you like to
It's
provide
good.
evidence for God?
Dean Withers is.
Oh, what happened?
Buddy's got 2 brain cells fighting for 3rd place. God damn.
I have no idea what just happened. Like my audio just completely cut out the
You're fine.
moment you kicked him off.
All right, Seer, let's get you up in here. And then also on YouTube, if you guys want to click that link that is pinned in chat, you'll go into that waiting room and we can get you over on YouTube as well. How's it going, Seer? Been a minute.
What's good, man?
You're over 18, right?
Yep,
Awesome. All right, which religion did you follow?
Christianity.
Okay, brother, what you got for us today?
Yeah, wait, your prompts prove God, right? I'm sorry, I can't see it.
Yeah, there's no evidence for God, yeah.
Cool. I'm just gonna, like, argue language proves God.
I'm not arguing semantics.
Oh, it's not semantics. It's
Semantics is literally the definition of arguing concepts and definitions of words. So yes, you
Yeah,
are
I wouldn't-
arguing semantics if you're going to use language and definitions to make God exist.
Well, no, I'm gonna be arguing, like, distinctions.
I'm not arguing semantics. If you want to provide evidence for a God, go for it. If you want to do that, fuck off so I can let someone else up.
Yeah, alright, man. Have a good
Cool.
one.
Have the day you deserve. David, let's get you up here, bro. What's up,
Hey,
David?
what's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Awesome, man. You over the age of 18?
What's that mean?
Are you over the age of 18?
Yes, I am.
All right, which religion do you follow?
A god.
Which God?
The guy the guy that I'm talking about, the one who isn't in us, and he's the one who died for our sins.
Christian. He's talking about Jesus.
Okay. Well, what you got for us today, David?
Today, like for me, my evidence for God was that he's the like I've been reading the Bible a lot, and I go to church a lot. I just let you know that. And plus, God, like for me, like one of the Bible that I don't like much is like when the God's disciples try to bow down to the idols.
I'm sorry?
I said part of the Bible. It says that disciples worship to idol, not to God.
Yeah, they worship the wrong god. I agree. That's a little bit wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, I'm going to move on to the next guest, but I appreciate you letting us know that. And you're absolutely right. I appreciate you. You have yourself a good day, all right?
Man, you too, man, you too.
I don't think that was good
I don't
to
know.
take.
I did comment my YouTube link if you feel like pinning that.
I don't pin anything. You're
Okay,
just
okay.
post your videos, shout it out once in a while.
I did.
All good. All right. All right, what is up and how do I say your name?
It's just McClendon.
Okay. Can I call you Mick?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. I'm too dumb to. Okay. You over the age of 18, brother?
I am
All right. Which religion we arguing for today?
Christianity.
Cool, man. What you got for me?
Okay, so we are Charlie Kirk. We carry the.
What's the
flame.
point? Why?
I don't know. You want to be completely honest, bro? I just think you look like that guy from Stranger Things, and I thought you
Cool.
looked cool.
What's the point here? Like, why make another account just to fuck around for shits and giggles? You just bored? What if
just
I
thought
ask you
looked cool.
nicely not to be a weirdo?
You did the eye twitchy thing.
What if I ask you nicely not to do this? Would you agree? I'd
mean,
like to have
yeah, I don't-
arguments with people that are in good faith, being a legitimate troll.
Yeah, I can't make any
douchebag,
more
making
accounts
up
anyway.
new
I'm at the-
accounts is
I
fucking.
can't make any more accounts.
Okay. He's gonna come back up.
Probably.
Ravis, welcome in, Daddy and Odin. Full house today, I see.
Sorry, I got all three boys in the house today.
Oh, good,
just
brother.
Put 'em in the bathroom.
Hell yeah.
I got some exciting news from work yesterday, though.
You got your 13th doctorate.
No. We just, but between us and my sister lab, we discovered a new androgynous retrovirus.
Hanta?
No, not that. They'll probably end up as one though. But no, not that one.
Am I
we
supposed to be
haven't-
scared of this or excited about this? You said virus.
No, it's a long extinct virus. It's
Put it back.
It's a virus.
No, put it back. Put it fucking back. No.
I'm not sure what.
I've seen Jurassic Park, motherfucker. Put it the fuck back.
No.
Put it back.
So the virus essentially only affects, from what we understand, it seems to only affects reptiles and avians.
Why are we fucking with viruses? Why are we doing this?
Well, big part of my research is fucking with viruses.
Oh,
But why?
man. And now we have the
Find
apocalypse.
something else to do.
Well, I've got a caller up. We're going to get in its voice in here.
All right.
That's terrifying, Ravis. I hate you for that, but let's move on. What is up, voice?
Dude, so man, how's the day going?
You got to be fucking shitting me, right?
We are Charlie Kirk.
In the fucking Russell over here, I cooked raw Minnesota comments. If you cooked, then it's raw.
All right. Timothy, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
Oh, love that accent. You over the age of 18, brother?
Yeah, I'm 44.
Awesome. All right. Which religion are you going to be arguing for?
Well, I'm a Christian theologian.
Cool.
I have a doctorate in biblical studies.
Awesome. All right. What you got for us? Why should I believe in the Christian God?
Well, I want to give a statement here real quick. Let's go with creation evidence. I'm not a young earther. I think they're stupid, in my opinion. But all right.
Same.
So we have that probably in common. All right. So I got one for you. So if you don't believe in God, could you buy into the fact that interdimensional beings exist?
Why would I?
Why would you? Because science and the government recently just released there are these things that exist, possibly by their method of science.
So, like, where's the study for this? If the government released this, there should be a
You're a
study, right?
conspiracy theorist. Seriously, you come in here and brag about having a degree and then go straight into conspiracy theories like a
It's not
non-degree
conspiracy.
loser.
It's not conspiracy.
Tell me the part of this source where they have sources showing alien life.
Okay. I can send you the articles if you want them.
I've seen the articles. They were
Oh,
just
you
released.
have?
You talking about the ones Trump just released, correct? The ones
No,
that
I'm not
doesn't
talking about
show.
Trump. No,
Okay.
we're not talking about Trump.
Okay, so you're talking about some kind of MK Ultra horseshit
This-
conspiracy theory bitch about like
No.
fucking the Illuminati and Area
No,
51
no,
hiding
no.
aliens.
No.
Okay.
Uh,
I don't give a fuck about aliens. I want evidence for God. If some
you
sort
want
of
evidence?
interdimensional being exists, cool, prove it. Second of all, prove God. That's what I'm here for.
Okay. So, do you think you come from dust?
Why the fuck would I believe that? What evidence do you have for God? What do you know how to not burden shift?
Okay. Well, if you don't believe in God, you believe in science, right? Darwin
I believe in
evolution, right?
facts
You
based
believe
in
that?
evidence. Can you stop burden shifting and provide me the evidence for God? Fuck evolution, fuck dust, fuck all that shit, fuck questioning me. Provide evidence for God. You have a degree and you can't even provide anything? Seriously?
Yeah, I do. No, I can. I just didn't know how we were going to talk. I want to know
want
where
the
you're
evidence for
coming from.
you don't need to know
where I know
shit
how to
about
talk
me.
to you.
Do my opinions dictate reality?
No, they don't.
Wonderful. So what you do
But
now is
I can
here's
show
the
you-
evidence for God. What do you think? And I say this is why I grant it or this is why I don't grant it, and we go from there. You don't need to ask me what my fucking favorite color is. Just tell me what fucking evidence you have.
Okay. In apologetics, number one, you have to have the mindset of the person you're talking to for I know how to talk to you. All right. So anyway, I'll be praying for you. So
Just
here's the
provide the
evidence.
evidence.
You want the real evidence?
No shit.
send
I've
you-
only asked 10 times and it's only
Yeah, I
right
will.
fucking here.
All right. All right. You want the evidence? Signs and wonders. Okay, then.
You good, bro?
The Lord God exists, and now in 2 days, watch this. You're gonna have a car. It's blue. Pull up to your house, and then the man or the woman, both of them will come out. If that ain't true, I'll go to hell for lying. You be blessed.
All right.
What
I
the
farted
fuck?
really. I farted really hard, and in 3 days he's gonna shit himself.
What the fuck? And also, Cody, I see that final boss keeps on trying to come up here.
We're not doing
Don't
that.
let him up here.
How's it feel to lose? How's it feel to lose? Tell me I'm wrong. Oh no. How's it feel to lose? How's it feel to lose? Lose. Fuck off.
Do you know what he said to people? There's like I know he does that loser shit, but there's specific reasons that I don't want him up here just because of what he said to people.
He's an idiot. Anyways. Do we
No,
have anyone on
it's
YouTube?
vile.
I don't care
Vile.
about the drama. I don't care. I already don't like him. Don't need him up here. Don't care about what he's done. I already know he's not a cool dude. I'm not friends with him. I don't care what he's done. And then we got I know you've been upset about this, ENB. We got the $2 super chat from EB. It's just a distraction from the files. Lock the fuck in. Yeah. He threatened me. What'd he say? Where? I don't see any messages. Oh, you guys muted him. Hello.
Da, 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 da.
Oh no, the last gentleman was trying to like make up a prophecy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't threatening to like show up at my house. He was just trying to like make up a. It's like I could say, yeah, within the next 5 days, you're gonna see a red car, and that means that God isn't real. Like, cool. I'll see a blue car. Huh. Huh. Shiver me timbers. Kind of crazy how couples exist.
What?
Yeah, I'm not taking that as a threat. And if he shows up, like 911, what's your emergency? Oh, sorry, I meant to call 988. What is it? Not 988. Yeah, we gotta. I'm not gonna say that on TikTok.
So, like, I missed the end of that. Did he try to put a curse on us?
Something like that. He was like, blah, 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 in 2 days. You saw that one.
Yeah. I'm a little curious specifically which one of us he was talking to. Was he talking to all of us, just one of us? And yeah, Mother, he was basically speaking tongues.
Supposedly. All right. Theists. Over on YouTube, you can click that pinned chat with the link. You can request up to call. On TikTok, click those 2 people at the bottom and/or click one of the boxes and hit request. We can get you up here, chat about your God. Be a pretty fun time. Sebastian, get you, man. Oh,
Limited time offer. Limited time offer. If we get any goth baddies, they can put a curse on us.
what's up, Sebastian?
Not much. How's it going?
Going all right, man. You over the age
So,
of 18?
yes, I'm 35.
Awesome. Which religion do you follow?
I'm spiritual.
Okay, cool. Like a specific god or just like some sort of deity in general?
I follow Jesus, but I don't believe in religion.
Well, Christian literally means follower of Christ, but okay. So what you got for us today?
So I actually have video evidence of resurrection. Yeah, I know. Go ahead, laugh it up, but I do.
Do you have so let me clarify here. So you have a doctor signing a death certificate. All right. Then you have the death certificate.
Why are we getting all the crazies up today? What the hell?
Well,
I drank a whole bottle of antifreeze.
What?
well, okay,
What?
that's cool. Do you have the video of the doctor signing the death certificate and then?
I have a video of me drinking the antifreeze.
Well, you drank some blue Kool-Aid. That's cool.
I
Appreciate that.
also drank bleach. I also drank diesel cleaner. I also took an
Okay,
entire bottle
Stop.
of vinegar.
Stop. So this is
An
like
entire bottle.
very self-harm-esque. We're not going to do that because it's TikTok.
I teach resurrection.
Dude.
I teach demon summoning.
No, that's Colt. Let me teach you how to. Wow, that's bad. We're never letting him back in here. What's up, Frost? All right, Sloshy, let's get you in here. Please be sane. What's up, Sloshy?
Ravis, I think you're the reason that all the crazies are here today.
I bring them out.
What's up, Sloshy?
What's up?
Hey, man, you over the age of 18?
Yeah, I gotta do a mic check first.
We hear you.
If I'm echoing, let me know because I'm turning you up a little bit.
Okay, sure. So far, you're good. Yeah, which religion do you follow, brother?
I don't follow any religions. I was raised Christian, and I've been a fan of you for a little while, but I just made my TikTok not too long ago, and I saw you were live, so I was like, hey, I'm gonna tell him hi.
Hell yeah. You, an atheist making videos or something?
No, I'm an atheist. I've been in like all the atheist YouTube streams for a while in the comment section.
Hell yeah.
So I hang out with like Joel and Justin and you, and I hang out with everybody on YouTube. But I just made my TikTok.
Hell yeah, brother. Love that. Got anything
So,
you want to say
saw
to
that
chat?
I don't know. I found a God that's real. Yeah, you want to hear about it?
Want to elaborate?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the rap God. That's all.
Sucka Slim Shady. Awesome. Well, I've got Jaden and Fayborn up here as co-hosts. I usually like let a bunch of people up like later on in the streams, but I appreciate you hopping up and watching and
You're
everything.
good. If you're still live, whenever I stumble across again towards the end, I'll just
Yeah,
join up.
brother. Yeah, brother. All right, you have yourself a good one.
All right, thanks.
James, let's get you up in here, man. Dun 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 dun. Dun. What's up, James?
Hey, what's going on?
Going all right, man. You over the age of 18?
You said the age?
Yeah, you over the age of 18?
Yes, I'm 56.
Awesome. All right, which religion do you follow?
I'm a Christian.
Awesome. All right, what you got for us today, brother?
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to get your opinion or pick your brain a little bit because I know the people who, I guess you profess atheism or agnostic.
I'm an atheist. Sometimes I'm agnostic. Sometimes I'm Gnostic.
Okay, so I don't want to, stereotype, but most atheists, they base their, I guess, their beliefs around science and physics, right?
Yep. Facts based in evidence. Yep.
Okay, so there we have the crossroads. Let's say the Christian believes that there is a divine creator who thinks, who has wisdom and understanding beyond what we do as men. And then you have, excuse me, the atheist group that believes in evolution. I guess evolution stems from Big Bang expansion of the universe. So if we look at evolution, and this is what I wanted to ask you, that means everything evolved out of a natural selection, even plants. And that means there would be no laws or design of any thought or concepts that is outside of that. But what I want to know from the atheists, if we look at evolution, there is one law that's always constant. Not maybe 100% of the time, but let's say 99% of the time. And that's all life reproduces from male and female, right? So
No.
let's say,
Incorrect.
I mean, besides of what, seahorse, I don't know other animals that don't procreate without male and female.
Nope, there are animals that don't use male and female. There are animals that are entirely female.
Jack, get out of here.
Morning geckos, for example, are entirely female. So you're wrong.
So the female mates with female, and they give birth to females.
Sometimes they don't mate at all. Sometimes it's just one in which which fertilizes her own eggs, and which she then gives birth to more females.
Okay, so I guess you would find, like I said, it's not 100%, but I guess you would find a couple of cases.
But it's not a law.
And you would dispel that it's not a law. Okay, so
Absolutely.
what about the law of time? Like keeping time, days and nights, minutes, seconds, hours, circuits of the planets and stars. What about that law?
Well, time we made up. There isn't really a law. Time we kind of just made up. Like time is how we describe what's, as things pass. But like, maybe you're talking about gravity, but there is no law of time. There's like the law of gravity.
Okay, so if time is made up, if there's no law for time, then how would you describe or explain our aging, the aging
equals
process?
MC squared on top of us having oxygen, which is what causes us to age, and the sun as well, and other things that cause our cells to die, which is what aging is. I mean, what's your point here?
Okay, so I'm asking you a question. Is there no such thing as a lifespan? I'm talking about time. So man can live to be 120 years, but a turtle 600 years, a tree 3,000 years. And these laws were never broken. So a house flies 25 days. So I want to know, what about lifespan?
It's biology.
So
everyone's different.
but it's
There are
still
also
bound
some
by laws.
there are
It
some
can't
animals
be,
that don't
it
age.
can't be a haphazard evolution if it's bound by a law.
Check this
It's
out.
not though.
Check this out,
There-
James.
There's
Let's
I'm
say that you're
listening.
right. Let's say we grant your argument for the sake of how fucking stupid this is and it has nothing to do with God. What does God have anything to do with any of this?
Because if there's any law that is created like the laws of
define
gravity,
scientific law.
you define it.
Yeah, exactly. You have no fucking clue what you're talking about. So laws are what are happening in the universe.
So here
This
goes
is a law.
why the
Things
vulgar
fall.
language?
It's a natural because I fucking
That's the
feel
law
like
of
it. If you
gravity.
get fucking butthurt over fucking words, fuck off.
I wish you would say it in my face. I really
Now
do.
you're gonna
I
get
really- I
violent.
wish- I
How
wish we could
pathetic and
erase that.
insecure are you?
I would not only say it to your face, but I would then call you a little bitch about it. Like
I'll
I don't
shoot
give
you
a
in your
fuck.
fucking face
Dude,
as I see
I
you.
didn't even
So,
curse
a
at
punk
you.
ass Satanist like you, I'll gut you like a rabbit.
Shut up, dude. Okay, Ravis, chill. God damn it. Dude, I wasn't even cursing at you. I curse in language. What is your problem?
I dropped him. No need for TikTok TOS to get on our ass.
Good grief, the projection is strong with that one.
Sorry, when I smell a weak masculine figure, I can't help it. I get my teeth in there. I'll be good from now on. I promise.
I really thought we could get somewhere with him. What's up, Master?
Hey, hello. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, brother.
I do
You're over the age of 18,
I
man?
apologize. Yes, I am. I do apologize for the previous brother. Do respect his enthusiasm, though.
I love the enthusiasm, absolutely. I just, I'm not cursing at you. I just curse when I'm talking.
Right, I understand.
Yeah.
That's why you ask if we're over age 18. We can all handle that.
Yeah. Which religion do you follow, brother?
I don't follow any specific religion at this moment, but I was raised Christian.
Okay, cool.
So I do see the premise here is there is no evidence of God.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to first off by saying if there's evidence, it still can be disputed. Evidence can be disputed. Doesn't mean it has to be true just because it's evident. And what I wanted to present as evidence is cosmology as evidence of a God. Now, that doesn't mean to say that the definition of God would be someone who intervenes in our third-dimensional lives as human beings in our day-to-day, but it does have a ruling over our lives as a total.
So which part of cosmology points to a God?
The fact that one of them is that it's greater than we are the smartest beings in our observable universe at this moment, and and it's great. Oh, you don't believe that?
Elephants are smarter than me.
Okay. Well, sorry. So I guess I gotta argue that, which would be we can do math problems.
So, can you climb a tree?
So we can just.
Can you fly?
Yes, and elephants can't. No, and elephants
Can you breathe
cannot.
underwater?
No, and elephants cannot either.
No, I'm pointing out that you just brought up something that helps us in our environment. They have things that help them, and they don't need to know math. That's our thing. Just like I can't breathe in water, they don't need math. Just like they don't need English, I need English. They have their form of communication,
Okay.
I have my form of communication. That's just a stupid comparison.
Okay, just what I meant by that is we can perceive the greater spans of science and over any other animal that we know.
They don't need it
on our planet. Right. So
again,
do we
you're
need
comparing apples to oranges, brother. It doesn't work.
Well, let me ask you this: do we need physics, even though we understand it?
Physics exists. It's our descriptions of the universe. So I don't see how any of this points to a God.
Okay. Well, if the world doesn't turn as we perceive it, then interferes with our lives on the planet. Doesn't that make
Yeah,
sense?
congratulations. Where's God?
So us perceiving that, even though you're saying we don't need it,
I
but
didn't say that.
All right, well,
We don't
you
need to
compared
know
us.
physics for them to exist. The universe is
Right.
objective. It doesn't require a mind for it to exist. So again,
Right.
where's God?
I'm not saying. I'm saying that that is going on, even though we are the smartest to. We're smart enough to perceive it, but we still have much more to perceive, with more going on than we are
Let's say I
able to
granted that.
perceive.
What does that have to do with a God existing?
Well, not in the God sense of something that's going to help us in our day to day as human beings, but it will, perceiving that understands what God has done for us so that we can live.
Where is God, dude? You said cosmology proves God, and you have evidence for God, and you're just kind of going on tangents about nothingness.
Cosmology is the evidence of God, and
How?
and that
Evidence
can be
points towards
disputed.
a causal mechanism for some sort of an effect. Okay? When I talk about gravity, the causal mechanism is space-time curvature. That's evidence for how gravity works. Cosmology is cosmology. It's evidence for cosmology. What part of cosmology is evidence of a God having jack shit to do with anything? It's beautiful. Congratulations. Physics are awesome. Congratulations. Where's God? It has nothing to do with a God.
Okay. Well, how? Okay. I understand what you're saying. I concede. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Well, I appreciate your conversation.
No problem. I
Give yourself a
appreciate you.
good day, brother.
Thank you too.
He's really honest.
All
And
right.
nice. I like him. Okay, cool. Anyone on YouTube?
Okay, that's a good.
We got
Let's
Home
hope
Slice
it continues to go good.
Here, we can get rid of that Barabbas guy on YouTube. Have you guys already banned him? I'll go on ahead and do it as well.
Yeah,
you
troll
guys
over
already
there.
did. Yeah, he was spamming slurs. All right, what's up, Home Slice?
Well, okay, so a lot of people say that eyewitness testimony isn't evidence, but it is. I mean, there's people sitting in jail right now. How many just because of eyewitness
Eyewitness testimony on its own is not evidence, no.
It is. There's people in jail right now just because of eyewitness testimony.
Nope, not just because of eyewitness. A, we have to have evidence that they actually are witnesses. B, we have to have evidence of what they did in causal mechanism relation, et cetera, et cetera. Just saying I saw X, Y, and Z is not evidence of X, Y, and Z being true.
So you admit that that eyewitness testimony is evidence.
It can be evidence if there's other things helping it. What's your point?
Do you want the evidence for God?
Yeah, no shit.
All right. Well, I mean, I was hoping you called me on my bluff. I was expecting you to protest and throw a fit about it, but you're gonna just let me tell my entire story.
No, fuck your story. I want evidence for God.
Yeah, that would be my entire story.
Nope.
When I tell
how
you,
would I know? How do I know that your experience is not a hallucination? How do I know? How do I know you're not lying? How do I know that you are?
Man up here telling you
how
that
do I know
he's
you're not on
all his
drugs,
spiritual
etc.?
guys.
There's like 3 different things that are objective to you, objections to your entire story. I have a story too. I've actually
But
making
here's the
videos
deal.
about my experiences.
Can I speak?
You can speak when I'm done speaking. Yes.
Well, go on, Cody.
I mean, I was done. I didn't mute him.
You were done. You were actually done. I think that's fine. So, yeah, and actually, hold on a second. Hold on a minute.
Do you understand why I don't grant testimony as evidence from my explanation?
Yeah, but it's very telling that you haven't even heard my story and you're already coming up with excuses.
Yes,
so how can I
because
consider you sincere?
There's no. How the fuck am I supposed to consider you sincere? You're a random motherfucker on the internet that can lie. How the fuck am I supposed to take your word as evidence? That's dumb. How about I call the cops right now and tell them some stupid ass lie? Are they gonna believe me? No. No. I just explained 3 reasons in justifying why it's not going to work here. If that's all you have, bye-bye.
No, that's not all I have, but
all right,
bye-bye.
So what evidence do you
Still
have?
Bye-bye, because you're not sincere.
Shut the fuck up, you crybaby. What's up, Kuromi?
Sorry, I didn't hear because the voice is low.
Yeah, you're good. How you doing, man?
Good, great.
Wonderful. You over the age of 18?
Yeah.
All right. Which religion do you follow?
Well, I'm not. I'm more of an anti-theist.
You're an anti-theist.
Yes.
Well, I'm here
Because
taking up.
I fundament.
Yeah, I'm here taking up theists to debate God. So I appreciate you requesting up, but we're not going to have much to talk about.
Okay, but I need to make a little statement, then I will leave. Okay? If
You really don't.
have a problem.
You have yourself a good day, brother.
It must have been like I understand. It's the virus. It's the virus I discovered that's bringing out the crazies.
Yep. I think that's a new fucking virus that you discovered. Everybody's gonna go crazy because of it. Get rid of it.
Nah. We have to explore it. We have to understand it. See if we can make it affect humans.
Nuh-uh. No, you don't. No.
But for science.
But no. Science can go stick that up its ass. That's what I think of that virus. It can go right up it.
Hamstring, I'm with you. I do practices and whatnot that are usually considered spiritual, but I'm an atheist and don't believe in the supernatural at all. But I ground it all in, psychology, physiology, etc. Cool story, dragons. Someone believing in unicorns doesn't make unicorns real. All you gotta do is pray and say in Jesus' name, and he'll get you a little high.
I mean, I believe in fairies. That makes them real, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
What is up, Squid?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right, man. You over the age of 18?
18, and I'd say I'm more of a theist. I don't follow a specific religion, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Do
Just
you have
believe
a
in like
specific God or like the classic or?
It's more just like I believe in some kind of higher power, which is conscious, or like some kind of awareness that's ordering things. It's like a theist perspective, not really a religious.
Sure. I'm gonna let Ravis and Jaden take over for a couple of minutes while I run to the restroom real quick. Ravis, be nice. He seems cool.
Thank you.
All right.
So I've heard this argument, and I want to see what you guys think about this. I think I've heard it from Hegel. I've heard it from a few other people, but it basically says, reality is grounded in a universal awareness or mind or spirit, and that individual minds participate in that larger reality. We're all perspectives within an awareness, and I'll try to give the premises here.
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
The thing, I'm going to be completely blunt here. We are going to get into this argument, but I do want to say this much: philosophy is not going to prove God. You need evidence outside of philosophy. I just wanted to state that, and I have heard some things with Hegel before, so I'm hoping this is going to be a good one because he is respected among theists. So I'm excited to hear this.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So, I mean, it really goes back to the old materialism versus idealism debate. And I like to use, I know a lot of people will say materialism seems like a lower prior for them. If that makes sense, low prior says what requires the least amount of explanations is usually the more probable. Like for example, if I drop my keys, I could say well, if the keys are on the floor, I could say I dropped them, or I could say an alien, magically teleported them there. I mean, they're both logically consistent, but the lower prior would be that I dropped them, right? And so the reason I say idealism, I think, is a lower prior, is because I think awareness is a certain fact. I mean, Kant, I think, famously said, "I think, therefore I am." So it's a given that awareness is real, that existence or reality exists within awareness. It's an inference to say that there is reality outside of awareness. It doesn't mean it's not there, but you can be agnostic to that. But you cannot be agnostic to the fact that reality exists within awareness. right? So so awareness is the most certain fact. That's like the starting point for this. Everything we know about reality is within awareness: matter, energy, space, time, logic, mathematics, even the theory of any theory derived from science, right? Science presupposes these things. So mind independent reality
Yeah,
is.
I mean, I would ground. I would use uh, I would use logic as an axiomatic principle.
Yeah, and I think idealism kind of has a bit of a logical realist perspective, right? So when somebody says like numbers are real, numbers are really more of a symbol that represent something the abstract in the world, right? So what I mean by logical realism is that if it's true that reality is founded in awareness, the foundation of reality is awareness itself. And awareness in mind is, by its nature, pattern seeking, logical. Or it's like the organizing principle of the reality. And go ahead.
How do you demonstrate that?
That awareness is so. For example, like if you see a triangle, it's logical to say that it has three sides, right? You cannot really get away from that. It's only one way that you can make sense of it. Logic is only there's only one way it can be interpreted, right? Like the circumference between, or the relationship, the ratio between the circumference and the diameter is pi. You cannot really deny facts like that, right? There's only one way to look at it, and mind looks for those sense making. Mind is sense making. It's pattern seeking. It looks for logic. How?
That's not a demonstration. That's you're saying that is the case. So the thing is that I would need a demonstration that the mind is inherently doing that, and like then you would have to demonstrate all minds are inherently doing that. Like how have you demonstrated that the mind of an ant is doing that? How have you demonstrated that the mind of a naked mole rat is doing that? The mind of an octopus, right?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
would have to, in order to demonstrate this, you'd have to demonstrate it across the board.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. So I think all life accesses this, fundamental awareness. Now they don't have the cognitive faculties that evolution has given us to be able to think mathematically, but they still have a form of logic, right? Like my dog understands when I get the leash that they're gonna go for a run. So they have logic. It's just not as attuned or acute as human logic is. And when definition of logic is a little ambiguous here, I'm trying to say logic is something that makes sense, right? And you cannot kind of, because trying to say what makes sense is another thing that's kind of arbitrary, because what makes sense for one person might not make sense for somebody else. But sense in almost a physical way, like you say, you cannot deny that a triangle has three sides, or that the closest distance between 2 points is a straight line. That's just logically sound, and there's no other way to interpret it, right? And I think the mind, in its nature, looks for that kind of thing, and it creates that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's called intuition, but I do hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can call it intuition, logic. I mean, whatever word you want to
Logic is
use.
a system.
Okay, I'll use the word intuition if you prefer
Yeah,
that.
I'm just thinking of like the most colloquial thing. Like you're just saying that they know this because X, Y, and Z happens.
Yeah, I just think the problem we're going to run into is that you're saying that this is something that minds do. However, you demonstrated that minds do this, and not just our minds, or not just the minds in which we've understood so far. Like the thing is that there could be a mind in which sees a triangle, and instead of saying, "Look, it has three sides," they say, "Oh, look, it has 3 points." Right? The thing is that the thing is that it doesn't always inherently follow that they're going to be seen the same way. Or, perspective is going to change a lot too. If I don't see all three sides of the triangle, I might say, those are some interesting two lines, right? Like the thing is, or I might not say anything to this at all. I might just not even recognize it as a viable thing to be worried about in my world. So the issue is that you can't really demonstrate that minds universally just think logically. You can demonstrate that minds universally think, but past that.
What's the point? Like, what's going on?
I can start. I read this from Hegel, right? And
oh God.
Well, like, yeah, come on, it's a good argument, and you're gonna have to try to at least bear with me here. He looked like he wasn't too happy about that.
we have a guy who comes up every now and then. His name is Hegel fan, and like
Okay.
he makes Hegel's arguments look a little clownish. So I'm sure he heard that and he had non-flashbacks.
A little bit of PTSD from other callers, I suppose. Hey, I didn't mean to provoke that reaction out of you, man.
Brother, okay, how many years are you in school?
I don't think that's significant.
It is significant because there's always a bunch of Philbros that randomly come in. They all talk about the exact same philosopher and treat that philosopher's word as God and law. Not even
it's not just
accepting
Hegel.
epistemology at all. Like Hegel said something cool. I don't give a fuck.
It's not just Hegel. I mean, George Berkeley has made similar arguments.
Berkeley's fucking stupid when it comes to so many fucking things. He can't tell fiction from fucking reality. Don't forget epistemology when you're studying philosophy.
Well, the perspective I'm giving is an epistemological perspective. I mean, the
Which
fact that
epistemology are you using for whatever the fuck you're talking about? Because I don't even know what you're talking about. I just heard Berkeley and fucking Hegel, two of the dumbest fucking ideologists on earth.
And you really went off on that one, huh?
Yeah, it's fucking. They don't know, dude. Okay, so Harry Potter exists because everything is mind dependent. If all things that I observe are dependent on my mind, then everything is dependent on a mind. Therefore, there has to be a mind that is allowing everything to exist. Therefore, there is a God. Like, what the fuck kind of horseshit reasoning is that? And if everything is mind dependent, then Harry Potter actually exists because all things are mind dependent anyway, and it exists in reality. Like, that's stupid. It's not fucking true. It's horrible. It's lacking all justification. It's stupid.
You haven't even heard? Okay. Okay, so if you say Harry Potter is true...
I'm not going down that route. Do you want to argue for some sort of a god or mind or something?
You don't want to go down that route?
No.
Because you can't explain it, because you don't know how to...
Is Harry Potter ontologically real?
No.
Okay, cool. Thank you. God!
No, of course not. Of course not. But is, for example, the number 2 ontologically real?
No,
not.
But it
no,
does have
exactly.
axioms that are ontologically true.
Yes. So the.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So
We're good.
Did somebody argue before that like Harry Potter is true or something?
Yes. I've had any person that brings up Berkeley or Hegel is like, well, I can imagine it, so therefore unicorns and pretty little rainbows. Like, dude, you dumbass.
No, yeah. Just because you can imagine something doesn't mean it has any reference in the in the reality that we perceive,
what
right?
Epistemology do you like subscribe to for that?
Well, when you say epistemology, I'm referring to things that exist within awareness, right? That the only thing that we can know, because we encounter reality only within awareness.
But we can test our awareness off of the objective truth of which is reality, which is where.
But that's also, that's information, right? That's also we only encounter that within awareness.
But if it's not objectively true, it will fail. That's the point.
Yes, it must be objectively true for it to be succeed, right? But what is objective?
Objectively true things are things that exist in objective reality. Do you really want to go down the meta with me? I will smoke the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I'm a natural empiricist, dude. You got
So it's a good point, because natural empiricism, in my point, is a lower prior than idealism.
And the priors. You guys are you in a Discord? Are you in KG?
No, I'm on TikTok. Discord? What do you mean?
I swear to God, like all the Phil bros, I'm not calling you a Phil bro. You seem pretty cool so far, but like every single Phil bro and philosopher, there's like every month they have a specific philosopher every single one of them brings up, and a specific line of arguments and specific words and definitions that they bring up consistently. And then I'll get like a random troll that brings up another fucking philosopher, and then all the fucking Phil bros are following along. Like it's literally just like a fad.
I guess they have, they send an email out and...
Yeah, they got something. Phil bros fanfic, or I don't... Oh, God. Philosophy's cool, but it doesn't bring you to truth.
Yeah, and I agree with that. This is more of just a framing, right? Like the way of looking at it.
In certain frameworks, there is a realistic expectation of there being some sort of a mind or something, but we live in reality, and there is no such thing as a logically sound argument for God, and there is no evidence for God, so there's no justification to grant a God. Is it possible that there is some sort of a being out there? Sure, it's also possible Voldemort is that being, but there's no justification to believe either.
Right. So my argument is saying that it's easier to justify our perception of reality if reality is founded in some kind of awareness.
I don't grant that at all.
Well, this is what I'm going to make the argument for, right? Because you said you're a natural realist, right?
Empiricist, yeah.
Empiricist, and the thing about natural empiricism is that it makes a fundamental assumption that there exists reality outside of awareness. Doesn't mean that there doesn't. It doesn't mean that there isn't a reality outside of awareness, but it's still an inference. But so I can be agnostic about whether or not there is reality outside of awareness, but I cannot be agnostic.
Be agnostic about whether I have 5 fingers or not. That's stupid. You can be agnostic about whatever the fuck you want. All the evidence justifies I have 5 fucking fingers. That's stupid. See, this
No,
is
you
where
cannot
we have to
be.
have
You cannot
epistemology.
be agnostic on whether or not you have 5. You can't. Like
I am
you observe it.
I have 5.
Yes, you know that you have 5 fingers because you observe that you have 5 fingers.
Yeah, it's an objective fact.
Yes, right. Objective fact.
I can imagine that I have 6, but that is not objective.
Yeah.
We can test our thoughts against objective reality. There is an objective reality that is not mind dependent.
Yes, there's something there. There's objective reality, whatever it is.
What do you mean,
right?
whatever it is? It's the universe.
Yeah, we can call it the universe. We can call it objective reality, whatever you want to call it. I agree that there is something there. What I'm trying to say is that whatever that is there is only encountered within awareness. Right? So, for example, like
for aware and observable beings, yes, but a tree still deals with objective reality without awareness. So, no, I don't.
No, I mean a tree might, it's hard to say whether or not, like, what kind of perspective a tree has.
Yeah, a tree
I don't think they have
a brain. It doesn't have eyes.
Right.
It doesn't observe.
Exactly, but it grows. We agree that it's living, though, right? So it interacts with this, whatever this is, the objective reality, in one way or another. Not with intent, exactly. It has, but it still interacts with it in one way or another. It's a living thing. Not purposefully, but it in whatever way it does in its own way of living.
You don't have to
right?
have awareness to have an interaction or exist in reality. Is my point. The universe is not dependent on a mind.
Well, that's where I disagree. I think the universe
that's why I'm shutting it the fuck down. That's stupid.
No, it's not stupid. It's the only thing that we know for sure.
No, it's not. I know for an absolute fucking fact, with all of us not existing, the universe is still here.
How can you know that for an absolute
fact?
Because
we didn't fucking exist 400,000 years ago. It is an absolute fact. It is objective. It is proven time and time again through every single fucking mathematic, physics, science, everything. Literally everything points to that. There is no justification to believe that the universe is fucking mind dependent. That's stupid. It's unjustified.
The reason that there is, okay, like, I don't think it's unjustified.
It's 100% unjustified. Did we exist 500,000 years ago?
No.
There you go. And the universe goddamn fucking existed. Therefore, it's not mind dependent. Thank you. What evidence do you have to justify a mind dependent universe?
From our perspective, because the awareness that we're using is sense seeking, right? It tries to make sense of the world.
It against objective reality. It is an objective fact that we exist. It is objective that the universe is here. Where is this magical unicorn mind coming from?
There's no magical unicorn. I'm trying to say that everything. All I'm trying to say is that everything that we encounter, all information, whether it be something that we have evidence for from 500,000 years ago. Yes, that's mind dependent.
But that doesn't mean that the universe is mind dependent. It means our observations are mind dependent. That's a stupid argument again.
So you think idealism in general is completely out the window? There is no way to frame idealism.
I would love to believe in it. I would love to be a fucking dualist, dude. But there is no justification for it at all.
It just, to me, it's I mean, I don't know if you've heard, and I don't want to, if I bring this up, please don't freak out.
If you reference Descartes, I am going to fucking kiss your pinky toe or some horse shit. Like, no.
Wait, what? No. I mean, the Descartes argument, I wasn't going to say that, but the Descartes argument is where I derived the idea that the only thing we can know for certain is that awareness and experience is true, right? And everything that we encounter is within the
We
awareness.
don't
That's
know
it.
that. I mean, we know that that
We
is
do
part
know
of
that.
reality, but we also know that without a mind, there still is existence.
We do not know that.
Yes, we do, because we
But
can
well, I
fucking
mean, like,
test it. If every single person
it's
on
an
Earth
inference.
goes extinct, the universe is still here. And before we existed, the universe was fucking here. The universe is 13.8 billion goddamn years old. I'm 25. The universe doesn't fucking need me.
This is an inference based on evidence.
No, it's
right. It's
I
still,
am
it's still an
inferencing
inference
based on evidence. You aren't
Yes.
doing shit except for phenomenological. I don't know shit about anything.
No. You're making an inference based on evidence.
You're
right?
throwing out axioms. Things exist, bro.
Yeah, they exist. They exist.
Objectively, without me.
But how? There
It's
is
an
no
axiom.
distinction.
It's a self-evident truth. Here you
There is
go.
no-
Proof things exist. There you go. I just proved it. I just proved objective reality. That's game over.
You proved they exist within our awareness. That's what you
No.
proved.
No.
Yes, you did.
No.
Do it again. Do it again.
I
Show me that
proved it
little.
both
Show me your bottle cap.
exists because every single person that is watching this, so 6, 7, 8, 9, well over 100 people watching this, all observed the exact same thing. There is no contention or
so you're talking
contradiction.
about-
It is 100% coherent with reality. The objective reality of gravity that pulled that cap down and the objective fact that it exists is all observed. We observe reality. Yes, that is subjective in our brain, but reality is objective. The cap is objective. Our observations of it are subjective, but we can describe objective things with subjectiveness. That does not make objective things subjective. That's stupid. It doesn't follow. It is absurd. You do realize you are talking absurd, right?
Well, what you're pointing at is like intersubjectiveness, right? Like
What you are
which
saying is absurd. Period. Am I wrong?
How is what I'm saying absurd though? Because you just literally
Nonsensical. It makes no
proved-
coherent sense at all.
what part of it does not make sense?
Does this exist without our observation? Yes or no?
Something exists without our observation.
This.
I don't know if that exists without our observation, because how can it exist if there's nothing to distinguish between one thing and another? It might be everything.
Again, 400,000 years ago, trees still fucking existed, and our minds did not. They exist. This is objective.
Yeah. How do we know that 400,000 years ago things existed? Because there's evidence of it, right?
Yeah,
You have fossils, you have-
objective evidence.
And all evidence.
Define
is
objective.
outside, like independent of
There you
of
go. You
awareness.
just debunked
Well,
yourself. You
that's
just
your-
debunked yourself. No, that's the
that's-
definition. I can also call a fucking shoelace a unicorn. It doesn't make it so. If you want to change definitions, do it on another fucking show where they give a fuck about stupid arguments. Not here. The definition is mind independent. The definition of subjective is mind dependent. This is objective. My observation of it is subjective. That's stupid. I'm not running in circles on this dumbass argument.
Okay, I mean, if you don't even want to,
Not even a little bit. I did address it. I debunked it 4 times. I'm done. Jesus Christ. Well, he wasn't a Christian, but
Slow and steady, but we need to go.
you're good, Ravis. Take your time, man.
I think you literally could have just said, "Well, if we can't, if what you're saying is true, then the Bible would have never existed because we are observing that."
He wasn't a Christian.
Just for an example.
Yeah, if he would have started out with asking a line of reasoning of like mind dependent questions, he could have stumped me. But the fact that I've already dealt with this argument 30 trillion times, hell no. Like, this is the new fad of the Phil Bros, is describing reality itself as subjective when that literally breaks the definition. Voiceless. Hell yeah.
Hey, how you been?
Hey, doing all right, man. You over the age of 18? It's been a while.
So, yeah, it's been a bit. I've been out and about doing other stuff, but I happened to come in during the Filbert argument, which is such a stupid thing. It's no better than simulation theory, which can only
Literally.
be proven by breaking it. It's the same way with the universe is subjective. You're asking a question that can only be answered by you in your absence. So, I mean, it's kind of a pointless question because even then, you're not there anymore.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
The
That
look
took
on
me
your
3 to 5
face is
business
worth it.
days. God, those were words. That's for sure. Oh God. Did you want to argue for a god today?
But yeah, I mean, it's just, oh, hell no. And if there is a God, fuck them.
See, if there is a god, it would be pretty cool, especially if they're a good god. Like that would be awesome. I have nothing against that. It's just like, why the fuck would I believe it?
Yeah. If there is a God, no.
With the amount of shit I've been through in my life, if there is a God, I stand by my previous statement.
Well, what about this? What if it's a god that is incapable of interacting for whatever reason?
Well, then
Then
how
they
the
don't
fuck
fit
did he create?
the given definition of a God. Therefore, they're just a higher being and
Lowercase
whatever.
god.
Yeah, I'm only arguing the uppercase version here against. Because as soon as you put lowercase in front of it, you also assign human foibles, which,
Yeah.
whatever, that's understandable. Beings in general have flaws. That's fine. But as soon as you say omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent, whatever,
Right.
fuck them.
Yeah, I can grant that. I grant that. That's valid. That's valid.
I mean, I might not like somebody because of their flaws, but at least I can forgive them their flaws because that's just part of existence.
Yeah.
But if you say you're better than me, you don't have flaws, but you still show them, now you're just a hypocrite.
Yeah. Thor. I'm too ignorant on Thor to know if he was good or not. But well, hey, I appreciate you hopping up and
Just
saying
like every
hi.
other pantheon out there, Thor is both. Oh, no problem. If you don't mind, I'll just finish off that last thought.
Sure.
To me, Thor, just like all the other pantheons, there is no good or there's no good or bad. Thor's Thor. I mean, Thor's meant to be a certain set of positive attributes and a certain set of negative attributes. And to try to boil it down to good or bad, you kind of lose the concept of it's a complex being.
I don't know how I feel about that. Sure.
That's just my take on it. If you agree, great. If not, no worries. Like I said, that's just my personal feeling about the various pantheons out there. I don't believe they exist, but that's how I view them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's valid. Well, I appreciate you hopping up and sharing.
Anyway, always good talking with you. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, you as well, man. There's a little bit of a delay there. He's a pretty chill guy, though. I appreciate him. Squid, seriously?
Can't throw this one to me, Cody. I don't know philosophy for shit.
Oh, fuck it. I'm gonna regret that.
Hey man, I did not mean to upset you so much with these these points. I would like to know exactly what you think. That's why I came up here in the first place. You sound pretty hostile as soon as I even brought it up, before I even said anything.
Because it's stupid.
But I need to know. I mean, I would love to understand why you think it's stupid.
It is literally absurd. Do you know what the definition of absurd is?
Yes, I know what the definition of absurd, but I don't know why you say
it's
that this is
wildly
absurd.
unreasonable, illogical. Why is that? Because there is an objective reality regardless of our existence in minds. Agree or disagree?
Can I make one point about that?
Yeah.
So, and please don't freak out. What I was going to say earlier before you freaked out was in dual slit experiment. Are you going to
You have
go
no
crazy?
clue anything about that, I'm betting.
Well, if I'm interpreting this incorrectly, then correct
Guarantee
me.
it's a straw man, and I gladly will. First and foremost, before you even start, it has nothing to do with particles magically appearing.
Particles magically appearing. Well, it's about information exchange, right?
It's about probability. Literally. That's all quantum is.
Yeah, what's most probable? So, I mean,
the double slit experiment showed us that they work in a way that we cannot calculate a pinpoint exact location, but instead we can get a probability analysis of areas it could be. It's not saying that all particles are everywhere at the exact same time until observed. It's saying we don't know where it's going to be until observed, but it's going to be in this probable area.
Yes, yeah. Okay. That's quantum, right? Yeah. So, but the interesting about the dual slit is that when we don't know which slit it went through, you see a interference pattern, right? It's not acting. It's like there's a particle wave duality, right? And the wave is the probability. The particle is defined is when you observe it, right? Is that not correct?
That's the equivalent of Schrodinger's cat, dude. No, we just don't know until we observe it. It's not that it is affected by our observation. We get our information on it when we observe it, same as a tree. I don't know if there's a tree in my front yard or not until I observe it. It's the exact same fucking thing.
Then why do you get an interference pattern where in a classical pattern. Right. So in a classical way of looking at the dual slit experiment, if it goes through one slit or the other, it would be either behind one slit or behind the other.
I don't know. I'm not a quantum physicist. I know it has nothing to do with magic and unicorns.
Okay, so this is where I'm getting at. We don't know. We don't know why that happens. I think in quantum physics,
I don't even know if you're interpreting it or explaining it correctly, because neither of us is a fucking quantum physicist.
But do you know the dual slit experiment? Like, what are the facts of it? Like, okay, when we know which slit it went through, it acts as if
it's not acting as if something because we're observing it.
No, because we measured it, right?
No, again, dude, quantum mechanics is so out of both of our fucking fields of knowledge. But me knowing that you are wrong about something, there's not even any point in us talking about it because I'm too ignorant to break it down. We're both ignorant on the subject itself. It's fucking stupid, dude. Do you need to be a fucking 4-time doctorate to be able to understand that there is or is not something spiritual? Or is it a factual thing about the world?
That there is or is not. You're saying it's factual that there is not something spiritual. Is that what you said?
Oh, I also just got someone who actually does study this. It's caused by interference of the measuring device.
Yes,
it's not caused by the particle.
Okay, perfect. So when we know because of the measurement device, because when we measure,
dude, we're both ignorant on this.
But it's related to my point.
Yeah, you're ignorant on the point. I'm ignorant on the point. No.
You're very avoidant on this subject, man.
Because we're ignorant.
Is it because you're on a live stream? No, but
it's because I am ignorant on something, and I'm not going to state things as true if I don't fucking know them.
So we can't just kind of play with the ideas, try to see what we think about it, what you think about it, what I think about it. I mean, it might not be true, it might not be a good explanation, or a good interpretation of what's actually happening. But it's a point of view.
Hey,
yeah, we don't know. I agree. Go ahead.
This guy, Catholic Thinker, down in the comments saying that he can help. I don't know if you know who that is. But he just keeps on repeating that he can help.
Yeah, he's way bigger on philosophy than I am.
Hey, so Squid.
Yes.
Here's the thing that's going on. So first off, I am a Catholic theist. I've studied Catholic philosophy and theology along with thinkers going all the way from Aristotle and Plato all the way up to Nietzsche. So I'm very familiar with a lot of the stuff that you're talking about as far as what you're trying to get into, as far as especially like, hey, the objective reality is dependent on our observation. The problem is that you are talking to someone who doesn't accept that premise, and the argument that you are using is assuming that very thing that they're contesting. So, and the thing with the double slit experiment as well, it doesn't prove that reality is dependent on our observation,
Not even
because
a little bit.
the wave function is real, is that objective reality that the people you're talking to would say that is that objective reality independent of our observation. And so you then are trying to appeal to that wave function as being dependent on our observation, when that's the thing that's existing independent of our observation, is self-defeating for your argument.
Okay, so it exists as a wave, like as a field of probability when it is
The
objective
very claim that
awareness.
you are making, Squid, is that that very field, that very wave probability, doesn't exist until we observe that wave field.
No. Okay, so no. There's something there. Like I said, I'm not denying whether.
Then reality is objective and not based on our observation.
Yes. Okay. There is some reality that's objective, right? Whatever it is, though.
So that
without
then
observation
defeats your
No.
very, Squid.
Yeah,
If
go
there
ahead.
is some reality independent of observation, then that defeats the very conclusion you were trying to get to, that because reality is
I can
dependent
shut
on
this down
observation,
really
there
quick.
must be some
Squid, 2 hours
mind.
2 hours ago, Squid, did I exist?
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Cool. I exist objective from your fucking perspective. Objective reality doesn't give a fuck about your observations.
But the premise is that we are all perspective within the same awareness.
Well, no. So, but that's what I was getting at.
You're
So, Cody,
presupposing.
Yes.
So-
that's a presupposition that I'm trying to argue for.
You can't.
well, no, Squid. So Squid.
Yes.
That's the very issue at hand. If you are trying to argue for your presupposition and your presupposition is within the argument, that becomes circular, first of all. Secondly, if you acknowledge that there is some reality that is independent of our observation, that exists objectively, that runs counter to the very presupposition you were putting forth, that all of reality is dependent on observation. So therefore, there must be some mind observing all of reality to make it all objective.
Awareness, what I'm trying to say, awareness is the ordering principle of this reality. It's the organizing structure.
No. You acknowledge that that wave function exists independent of our observation and independent of our awareness, so that it defeats your very presupposition.
But it exists, but it doesn't exist in a definite place and point.
Yes, it doesn't need to exist in a definite place or point. As long as it exists, as long as it exists, it is self-defeating to your claim that in order to exist, you must have awareness of it. Or there must be something aware.
So I misarticulated my point. That is not my point. I guess my point is that the awareness of it is what brings it into intelligibility, right? It makes it to where it defines what
Then
things
that
are and where they are.
intelligibility is not the same thing as existing, which is what you were claiming originally.
Right. Well, yeah, I
which
changed.
is,
I misarticulated what I was trying to say, and that's a good point, and that's a really good way. It evolves my way of understanding what I'm trying to say.
well, then the problem then is that the whole argument is shot because intelligibility doesn't explain something existing. Because, as Cody was saying early about like Voldemort and Harry Potter and Spider-Man and all of these other fictional characters, they have intelligibility, but they don't exist. So if you're now switching over to intelligibility, you've got nothing to lift up to then demonstrate the existence of a being that creates this intelligibility. Because as you also pointed out, we are creatures that are pattern seeking and we look for patterns in nature. So it could be that there is a mind that is creating all of these patterns and we are recognizing it, or it could just be the case that we are just putting patterns into something that doesn't actually have patterns and we're just fooling ourselves.
That's like the evolutionary argument, right? Where you say that the reason that the way that we,
I mean,
the reason.
that is that argument, but that's what I'm saying is that if you then continue trying the same line of thinking, but now your end goal is about intelligibility, it fails to the evolution argument.
It fails to the because we're saying that the reason that we see the world in this way is because we were evolved through the world and we had to be able to perceive it in a way that's survival progress, like it allows you to survive.
Consciousness is a product of the brain.
I mean, you still have you have to explain the hard problem of consciousness at that point. Then,
I don't
because
believe
if
qualia is a hard problem. That's a hard problem in philosophy, not in neuroscience. You make it a hard problem. We can explain exactly the feeling of and experience of colors. It's in neuroscience. You need to put a philosophy book down and pick up a fucking science textbook sometimes.
So, and the other thing about like the hard problem of science, you run into that same problem on a materialistic view for life. And science is perfectly fine saying, hey, maybe life doesn't actually exist and it's all just complex things interacting with each other. There are literal scientists out there who hold the position that say, hey, maybe life is this miscategorization and it's all just about complexity of chemical reactions, and there just then gets to this point where something is just so complex that this thing that we label as life appears to emerge, but it's not any more alive than your computer is alive. And consciousness could be the same thing, but the fact of the matter is that the approach that you're trying to go for, first off, is presupposing the very thing that's being arguing, which makes it circular. Secondly, what you've got to do is even if you were to get them to admit that there needs to be some mind that creates this reality, then they could then say, what if it's just my mind that exists then? What if it's just my mind that is observing and experiencing all of this reality, and my mind is this thing that you're trying to get at?
Or plot twist,
which isn't going to be the God that you're trying to argue for.
Dude.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. My view collapses into
yes.
It's not that it collapses into solipsism, but that it doesn't defeat solipsism, or that solipsism thrives within it, because someone could make that argument, and the way that you are presenting it doesn't defeat it, or at least doesn't justify the additional thing of this independent mind God being, where the solipsist can then say that they are that mind being, and now at that point
it's just all absurd.
Yeah,
it's all
it's
absurd.
just all absurd.
When you follow Berkeley, you follow Hegel, it leads to absurdity. You have to have epistemology. You are forgetting epistemology. That's why I choose to be a natural empiricist. I don't even choose it. It's because any of those gaps are answered. Okay, why do we experience red? Well, we're observing prisms and colors through light refraction in our cornea, which is then processed by the brain to tell us this color looks like this thing. And then chemical reactions are released, which certain colors like pink can release certain chemical reactions to, for instance, make you weaker. It is all answered in science. Philosophy is cool when we want to know something deep like, what is the purpose of life? And then we can go through different frameworks and concepts to see if there even is one. But when you want an answer and a true answer to something, you have to fucking test it. That's epistemology. How do you know it's fucking true if you're not fucking testing it to know if it's true or not?
Right. So when you say the color red is, because we agree, we're observing a certain frequency of light or a wavelength of light, and our brain interprets that wavelength of light to be red. Right. But like the experience of red itself, you still require
what do you mean?
an eye.
Yeah.
Like it's like saying it's like the traditional, the old if the tree falls in the
It
woods, does it make a sound?
exists, but we know it exists because of the eye and the refraction of the light in our cornea. It objectively exists, dude.
It objective. Okay, I could say it objectively exists.
I
but
don't
not
need to
in
experience
any
red right
meaningful
now
way.
to know that red exists.
So hang on, Squid. Are you claiming that in order for something to be meaningful, it needs to be known to exist?
It needs to be it's only
There you go.
intelligible.
Red exists. There you go.
But red is only intelligible within awareness. The frequency of light that creates red.
False. Light is a light. Red is a light refraction. False.
It's a
wavelength. You don't
wavelength.
need a mind. It is light.
Yeah, it's a certain wavelength of light.
Correct. You don't need a fucking mind for that. It exists objectively.
But the experience of it as red
is caused by prisms and refraction of light. It exists objectively.
So Squid, what you're doing here is there is a little bit of talking past going on here, but Squid, what you're describing is the subjective experience of red, like what we perceive as red. There is like even a scientific theory that no one sees the same red. Like that is possible.
I'm colorblind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
I'm colorblind. I agree with that.
That explains it because when you held up that card, it was a little grayed out. It didn't look red to me. But all joking aside, the thing with the light wave itself, like when most people are talking about red, they're not talking about the mental experience of red. They are talking about the objective thing that caused that subjective experience.
We can answer what makes it subjective and experience as well. And I did. For pink, I gave you the explanation.
Yes.
The objective thing is the light and photon, which objectively exists, whether you fucking exist or not. It exists. And it has refractions through the cornea, and the brain processes that information, and then thanks to your fucking hippocampus and fucking can't remember the other name, it is able to create the experience by processes of neurology. It is neurologically answered. Chemical reactions are feelings. Experience is through feelings and observations and feelings. Feelings are objectively chemical fucking reactions. When you see something, your brain processes it and tells the rest of your body, this is how we should react to this, and chemicals flood the fuck out of your body and make you feel. That is experience. Brain chemistry. Brain chemistry is experience. You are nothing but a brain covered in a fucking wetsuit. You are a brain. Consciousness does not exist outside of your brain. When you get hit really goddamn hard, you lose consciousness. When someone drills into your brain, lobotomy, your fucking personality changes. Consciousness is in the brain. No brain, no consciousness. No consciousness, trees still fucking exist.
Okay. Do you think that maybe in the future, like AI will become aware because of that?
I argue that it is conscious. It
that it's
depends on
conscious?
your semantic on conscious. But yeah, I argue it is.
I think it's just complexity layered on top of other complex. Like you can
That's
make
what
it
we
so
are.
complex.
We are fucking complex systems. I see things because of complex cells and neurological processes in the fucking brain. I am that. I am able to communicate because, like ChatGPT, people fucking talked around me and I picked up fucking information, repeated it until I understood the context, and if I said X, Y, and Z would happen. It's the same fucking thing.
I think you can have layers of complexity that not be aware. Like everything could be just as it is right now, but without awareness, it would make no difference. Like
what is
it would be
awareness?
pitch black.
Observation of your surroundings.
So Squid, and this is what I was getting at earlier, is just because we have a mind and we're aware of our surroundings, and our awareness makes that reality real to us, that doesn't mean that that reality is now mind dependent, like that reality separate from that awareness.
The
So the
reality
argument
as
you
we perceive it, though.
Yes, but the question is that if the reality in and of itself is mind dependent, just because the reality as we perceive it is mind dependent because that's our perception, your argument is effectively this: there is this objective reality that we are observing
I changed
only
that. I
because,
changed it
yeah.
already.
So now that gets into the coherent aspect of it, or the intelligibility aspect of it, which, as you can see, naturalism and all these other explanations already have an explanation. And then you start running into Occam's razor, where if there already is this explanation and you're trying to complicate it by adding on this eternal mind, now you're violating Occam's razor. So what you have to do, and this is what I tried to do, is figure out, hey, what is the actual question that needs to be answered? What is the way that reality is, where I am being as simple in my explanation, where I'm not unnecessarily adding on explanations? And where does that lead me? If you want success in these types of conversations, especially with people like Cody and other non-believers, you first have to understand what is the ground point that you both agree on, and start from there, where, all right, so we agree on this. Do you agree to this? No? Okay, why don't you agree with this? Okay, and I don't agree with your disagreement because of XYZ. And you work very, very, very slowly through that.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to start with something that you agree on first, and not start on where you disagree and try
Okay.
to convince him to agree with
Here's the hard part with that, Squid.
Yeah.
When you ask a question like, well, that doesn't explain experience, and then I give you a strong argument for causal mechanism for what experience is physically, and your only thing is, nuh-uh, that doesn't explain subjective experience, I have nowhere to go except for pure fucking hatred for you, because it's so circular. It's just nuh-uh, nuh-uh. It is angering. I have no reason to want to talk to you if you're just going to shut it down and not provide a counter.
I mean, I don't think if I can provide a counter other than I don't think AI is aware, right? Like, there's complexity
I
there.
am cool with that. But my argument for AI, for instance, is my semantics on consciousness and awareness. I know that many people don't grant that, and I don't give a fuck about that. It's my personal subjective opinion. It is not an objective fact. It is subjective to my semantics. What is objective is this. My hair, my headphones, those are objective. They exist with or without my existence or your existence. And 500,000 years ago, trees, ground, water, fucking simple celled organisms without fucking brains existed. That is objective. For you to say it requires a mind for it to exist is lunacy, because there's no justification for that at all.
And I agreed with that already. Remember, I changed my. There is objective reality. The way that I changed it is by saying that objective reality is only intelligible with the awareness. Without
I
awareness.
don't grant that either. It is intelligible.
So, but that's the thing is like, so awareness and intelligibility are almost, especially in a view like Cody's, are almost interchangeable in the sense of we have we have awareness. And so, of course, because of the intelligence and awareness that we have, we are going to do our best to make the observed reality be intelligible to us.
Yes.
Are you but that doesn't necessarily mean, like, especially depending on how one approaches it, that doesn't necessarily mean that what we have in what we're aware of actually is. Kant himself very famously argues that we can't know the thing in and of itself. We can only know the phenomena, and we can't
Right.
know how close the phenomena is to the thing in and of itself, the noumena.
Mm.
It's almost like I don't know if you're familiar with H.P. Lovecraft and Lovecraftian horror and Cthulhu and
Yep, a little
cosmic
bit.
horror.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you actually are familiar with the works, what you realize is that these beings were so far beyond our understanding that when human minds and human reality were looking at it, they didn't see it as it actually was because their brain was too small to comprehend it.
That's a really
And
good point.
so when you're saying, hey, well, at least it's intelligible to us, well, sure, the people that saw the Cthulhu made this intelligible statement of what Cthulhu was, but it wasn't what Cthulhu actually is because they can't actually understand it. So they did it in this intelligible way.
And we could say the same thing about the reality as it's perceived, right?
Yes, and that's the problem. Because
I don't think
intelligibility
it's
is
a
based.
problem. I think
Well,
it's
no, as in that's not because you can say that, you can't get your argument further than just the reality around us appears to be intelligible. And because you can't get beyond that, you can't get to this
well,
mind being that
yeah.
made it intelligible.
Like from just I'm going to summarize it from how I am understanding this is
Okay.
that there is a truth. There's an objective truth out there. And
So
in the
truth
way
is descriptive, not prescriptive.
what
So
I mean
that's
is
the
like
first
there's
issue.
something there. There's the truth is there. Like whatever I'm not saying it's
So
prescriptive.
what
We
you're
don't
gonna
prescribe the truth. We describe it through our senses, right?
yeah. So what you're gonna want to say is something exists.
Yes, something exists, but it exists in a truthful way that we cannot don't
No,
perceive it in that way.
You don't want to throw truth in there. You don't want to throw truth in there.
Don't want to use
And
the
the
word truth.
reason,
Okay.
because the reason.
Listen, you two.
Yeah.
Listen, because at this point it's becoming a training lesson for you, Squid. So.
But for a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people are learning here. Come on.
No, listen, my brain's hurting. It's hurting like a motherfucker, and we have 2 other people waiting to come up.
Okay, we'll leave it off here. If it's okay, and if I'll try not to cause that PTSD reaction. If it's okay, I'll call back. I'll think about what we were talking about. I'll reframe my argument to include what I just learned or my new framing of it, and I'll let you guys go and talk to the next guest if that's okay.
Also, figure out what epistemology works best for your ideas. That'll make a lot more sense.
What epistemologies work? Okay. I'll
like which one do you feel best subscribed to? Like, I don't want to be an empiricist. I want to be a dualist, but I can't. It doesn't work, and I can't grant it. So I am empirical.
I see. Okay, man. I really appreciate you guys. I'm sorry about making you feel that way, man. That's I know. I'm sure you get a lot of crazy stuff.
It's no problem. It's just like this is so left field from where I'm good at, and I've been listening, trying to understand what's going on here, and it's difficult for me. To me, it just sounded like it was a circular argument where
it was.
There just wasn't nothing being answered.
Nothing being answered.
Your conclusions were all open-ended, but how do we know this? Instead of saying, I know that there is some sort of external mind because of, you were just questioning everything about everything.
Well, that's not what I wasn't questioning everything about it. I was trying to define why things are intelligible, right?
And you can't do that. Okay.
The reason, the way that I try to do this,
that there is a mind that the universe is dependent upon. We could go from there, but you have to explain how the objective reality does not exist if there is no of this mind, which requires you proving a God and proving that the universe wouldn't exist without this God, which just straight up goes into the contingency argument. So the whole entire thing is just a massive roundabout of a contingency argument. The universe is necessary, and you saying that there is a mind without any justification is just absurd.
I mean, we are a mind, right? So
That doesn't
there is
make a tree a mind. That
minds.
doesn't make gravity a mind. It doesn't make photons
But
and
yeah,
radiation a
correct.
mind. It doesn't make dirt and water. No. So the
You're
universe
talking about
is
objective truth.
and it does not require a mind. Your argument is under the presupposition that the universe is contingent upon something's mind.
Well, like I said, I changed it. I do agree with you now that, okay, we can say that there is something objectively true.
Then what's your
and that the
struggle
way
point
that
here?
and that the way that we perceive it might not be the most accurate. Right? Through evolution, we've learned more about this objective thing, whatever is out there. You know, imagine like when we were single-celled organisms, maybe our senses of this thing were a lot more primitive.
This thing.
The objective, whatever
reality.
it is,
It
reality.
the
Yes.
universe, brother.
Yes,
It's
the
not-
universe.
Yeah, it's simple. You don't need to complicate it.
I'll call it reality, right?
The Earth
reality
is objective. Cosmos
Yes,
objective. Like that is reality.
Yeah. The way it's reality. It's just this is the way we perceive it as of now. Maybe in the 1,000 years we evolve in such a way that we understand
maybe
things in a deeper way, and it
grow-
changes.
Dude, no,
Right?
no. Reality
It doesn't change. Our perspective of it changes.
Yes, that is possible. You are correct that someday our eyeballs might become night vision. Congratulations.
And we'll see new
reality
colors,
is
right?
Still the same thing. Like I see different
Yeah.
colors from most people because I'm colorblind.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that colors exist.
That there are colors, right? There's different wavelengths of light. So what changes is our perspective as we evolve. Our perspective of reality evolves along with us, right?
Yes.
I don't think the reality ever really changed, though. Objectively,
Yes.
it's always what it is. Reality does not change. Just our relationship to our perspective of that reality changes.
Yes, and that you
Right?
can fuck with. Okay, that you can use phenomenology to quote unquote warp your reality. You can do that through the perception that you have of reality, but we will never be able to change reality. Like we can't stop space-time from curving. You know what I'm saying? Those are objective descriptions of what the universe is. Gravity is the universe.
Yeah, correct. So okay, then we agree on at least that point, right?
I'm confused where you don't agree now.
Where I don't agree with. Okay, so I'm still thinking that the organizing principle, at least from our perception of it, is the way that we see it. It's our awareness, right? The level of understanding that we have as of now causes us to perceive reality in the way that we perceive it. And the reason that it aligns, like your awareness aligns with my awareness. I guess the core is going back to my presupposition that awareness is first. That we are just perspectives in this in one awareness.
The problem with that is brains and awareness wasn't literally first, and we have fossils that prove that.
Yeah, from our perspective as we understand it today.
It's an
Right.
objective fact, though. That's the problem. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
and I agree with that. I agree with that it's an objective fact that even before there
our
was awareness.
perspective of reality. Okay, we could make it to where we see blue as red someday, sure, but blue is still blue, red is still red. Okay, it is an objective fact that the universe existed without minds. Okay, that's an objective fact. Just because our perception on how things work and why things came to be changes doesn't mean reality changes. I'm so confused on what you're.
It's because the way that we perceive the world today, like I said, my core argument was that the awareness that we share is the organizing. It's what causes things to be logical, right? Meaning, distinction, definition doesn't exist outside of awareness.
If I may,
You're still on the
Squid.
precept that the
Yeah.
mind is the universe is dependent on
Like you had said, your whole understanding of how to go about this argument has fallen, and now you're kind of
It's changed a
running on the
lot.
fly.
I agree.
Yeah. So now you're kind of running on the fly. So
No, yeah,
what
you're right.
I-
That's why I wanted to get off to understand this better,
so
because you guys made
go-
great points.
So go ahead,
Especially you,
and-
Catholic thinker. You really you
Catholic
make
is
great
a
points about
fucking
this.
legend.
Yeah, Catholic thinker, you because you understand exactly what I was trying to say, and then you put it into a perspective where. Thank you for that, by the way. So I
like
need to
I
go
said,
think about this.
Yeah, so like I said, go ahead, just instead of trying to make yourself look good as you leave, the best way to, because I get it, like you had your
It's not about
argument
making
that you were,
myself look good. Is that you guys changed my perspective on how I even saw this when I came in the first
I'm
place.
proud of you.
I don't care
Yeah,
about
so
looking good. I care about learning something new.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah,
sister.
absolutely. So instead of just what I was going to say is, instead of being here and just being like, yeah, this is what I was trying to say, or this is how I think I'll go about it, just go ahead and say, hey,
that's what I did.
Thank you for the new perspective. I didn't think about it this way. Let me go and relook at it and reassess.
Exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. So
it was
yes,
awesome having you up. I want to hear you like give me like what epistemology you think is best when you come back, and then
Sure thing.
come with a conclusive argument, like something that like I believe there is a mind, and this is why.
Like a premisey conclusion.
You don't need to have that, because the problem with logical syllogisms is the premises still require external evidence to justify them as true if you want a sound argument. I don't believe there is a sound argument in existence for any sort of a deity, God, supernatural, etc., because there is no, these are empirical things that we're talking about, so that doesn't work in my framework. That's a good one. Why should I grant your epistemology? That's a good one. Figure out which epistemology you like and which one you subscribe to most, and we can argue that. Maybe you can turn me away from empiricism.
Excellent. No, yeah. Thank you guys, man. I'll go think about this. I'll do some research, and then hopefully next time, I don't know.
All good.
And I'm sorry about that again, man.
You're perfectly
All right,
fine.
you guys.
You have a good day, brother.
Dude.
You guys got.
Don't let up. Can't let up, because I know you like to go in order. Oh my god. Will you ever stop screaming, brother?
House, dude.
Listen, don't worry.
Orange, hello. By the way, Catholic, thank you for the fucking save. You just turned like a fight into an actual discussion. That's amazing.
Like I said, I have been doing this for so long. I can see both sides, and I can see when someone who is floundering like that, what they're actually trying to say and what they're doing a poor job of doing, and I can help them out a little bit.
I love that. You're amazing. I've got tunnel vision. How's it going, Orange?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, doing all right, man. You over the age of 18?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Which religion do you follow?
I would say I'm a Christian.
All right. I was really hoping you'd say Catholic, because I was going to sick Catholic on you.
That's how I was raised. I was raised Catholic,
yeah? Awesome.
but I'm since deviated away from it.
Oh, you dirty heretic. I'm kidding. What you got for us today, brother?
Yeah, so you're an empiricist, right? So
natural. I'm not necessarily hard. I'm leaning pretty hard.
I heard you guys bring up Kant briefly earlier. I'm not like the smartest guy in the world. I'm not going to pretend I know a lot of things, but I have read the Critique of Pure Reason, and
I'm ignorant on Kant.
It seems to me that Kant's critique of empiricism is pretty sound. Although, you know, I think I would probably I'm more in alignment with Hegel in terms of like what my epistemology would be, I guess, in the sense.
Cody's face gives you the answer for that one.
What's up?
Cody's face gives you the answer for that one.
Yeah. I mean, I come from a Marxist tradition, so it's more like a materialist Hegel, a materialist view of Hegel. So
okay.
Yeah. So that's the kind of where I'll be arguing this from. But yeah, basically, like, rote empiricism. You know, I think that there definitely is something to Kant. Are you familiar with the synthetic a priori or the transcendental mediation of reality?
Nope, I've never read Kant or Hegel.
Basically, like, the argument is that there's like the empiricists believe like you can't kind of know anything other than what you experience. Like your experience, subjective experience, kind of gives you knowledge. And Kant basically argues that, well, everything is transcendentally mediated through your mind, and that the way that basically everything is mediated through this mind that is bootstrapped with like what he calls the synthetic a priori, which is just a priori knowledge of time, space, causality, essentially, that is our prerequisites, basically. Like you couldn't experience these things to learn about them. They actually have to come like a priori. So this is how Kant kind of reconciles these two splits of the phenomenological world, like the real world, the objective world, and the nominal world, like the world of forms, like the Platonic forms, kind of like what they are in content.
We do have Kant requesting up, but if you want to try and run his argument, that's just fine. And also, Cody, your
If it's
audio is
Kant
very,
bot, he
very,
showed up on my live
yeah.
before, and he's a Phil bro.
Very loud.
Yeah, no, a cop bot's a
It's
legend,
it's
yeah.
very low,
Very low. Okay, here, I'll
Is it? Oh.
No, me. Yeah, it's
yeah, his is low. Yeah, his
I
is really
keep
low.
messing up on YouTube. My audio settings are completely separate, and then on TikTok they're completely separate. So sometimes whenever YouTube says I'm low or loud, I adjust it on both, and then I have to like readjust it because I fucked up.
So I guess to get to the point, and maybe this is stupid, but because I'm not, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I find the kind of atheist argument. First of all, I come from the position of like basically the evidence for God would be identical to the evidence against God. Like it would, if God exists, is evidence for and against him would basically be identical from our perspective. And the other thing is like this concept. It seems to me that this kind of atheist position stops at some arbitrary point of kind of where like the science stops. Like there's there's a question of ontology with all things until a certain level. Like, this is made of quarks. I heard you talk about neurons and thought and stuff. It's like, well, okay, but at some point, the underlying logic and order within the universe, within living nature itself, like it seems like there's an arbitrary stop there for the atheists where they're like, oh, well, so we have yet to discover kind of the true nature of these things. And I would say that basically it seems to me that the logic for the underlying order in the universe would be basically inseparable or indifferentiable from that of what we would consider a God or absolute spirit.
Is the universe metaphysical or empirical?
I would say it's a material.
Right. So why is it arbitrary to stop trying to make justified conclusions on a material world when our material tool isn't able to catch up to something? How's that arbitrary?
Well, because we know, right? Like things either you agree. Do you think that the reality is always existed, or was it something that came into being?
I lean more towards eternal. I don't have any justification to believe that it didn't ever exist.
So I think the justification to make it reasonable that it would exist is that there seems to be a kind of eschatological relationship to the organization of matter itself, in that there was no known sentience or consciousness before humans in the way that we have it. And through the complex arrangement and interaction, dare I say, dialectical sublation of matter and material over time, it has created this sort of what's up?
Matter is an emergent property from energy.
Well, I would argue that they're probably all downstream of a kind of primary difference, to use something from, I think it's Deleuze and Guattari. But yeah, this dialectical relationship like exists in all of living nature, and that the result of it over time has been a form of self-awareness, a mind within the universe that is able to like transform nature, understand its own perspective, have subjectivity, etc. So that actually is an example of something that we know like emerged, or was created. So I think it's reasonable to assume, because there seems to be a vector of matter that is developing, that there was a beginning.
I mean, I agree that there's a beginning to time.
Okay, so if there's a beginning and we already see a mind emerge from the concentration of an interaction of material, including our own development in the form of thought, which I also would view as objective, I think it's reasonable to assume that this type of order would.
Thoughts are objective?
Yeah, I think thoughts would
What's
constitute
your definition of objective?
That it exists materially. That is, I think basically, I'll put it this way. I think the human intellect is oriented towards the content of reality, and therefore thought.
A lot of things if our semantics are this far off. Objective, literally Oxford Dictionary, means does not change in accordance with feelings, tastes, and opinions. And philosophically, it literally means mind independent. So if you,
that's kind of why I shifted to the human intellect is oriented towards
the universe. I define as eternal, therefore it is eternal.
Okay, so you've got me on this type of, I guess, logical inconsistency, but the essence of what I'm trying to say is that the human intellect is oriented towards the content of reality.
Yes.
And that I view as thought is part of the human intellect. Logic is part of the human intellect. So they have a very that is a material basis to me.
I mean, I agree that it comes from the material. Absolutely. I'm a materialist, but to like treat it like it required a mind for it to become, no. It's, I mean, we got billions of years of minute changes, which is why a brain grew, which is why eyeballs grew, and we have so many different types of eyeballs for different environments, right? We have our eyeballs because of our environment, not because a mind said, let there be light.
Well, there's a dialectical relationship between phenotypes, right, what you're describing, and the natural world. These are not simply one directional. It's not this is a kind of a one-sided undialectical understanding of evolution, is that environment plays no role. There's a certain awareness that organisms have to fit their environment. There's a million eyeballs because
Not
there is.
necessarily.
Well, how do you figure?
Okay, we have like two different pain receptors, right? We have pain from nerves that send pain signals to our brain that say ow, ow. We also have pain receptors where we don't feel pain, but we have a instinct to pull away. So the brain just pulls us away from the danger. That's what it started out as. And that's how they
Pain is the subjective mediation of this physical thing, though.
Yes,
so like you're still interpreting. There's still a mediation that is occurring. What we understand as pain,
but there's no like greater mind. Why should I believe in a greater mind?
I think that this is why I wanted to kind of focus it on the Hegelian concept of like a positive infinity. Have you ever come across this?
The what?
Hegel has concepts of positive and negative infinity.
Okay, I'm very ignorant on the math behind that. So
it's fine. It's pretty simple. It's like negative infinity would just be a sequence, like pi or something. That these sequence, these things that negative. It's like negative in like his kind of like almost moralistic sense, where it's like they're just an endless series. It doesn't actually like amount to anything. It's just things that repeat over and over and over again. I think Kant has a with the I forget what it's called. There's like these contradictions. Anyway, I'll think of it later. But anyway, a positive infinity would be like a person, which would be that you could drill down to a cell, to a quark. There's an infinite complexity within a person, right? There is infinity inwards, infinitely outwards. There's no like fundamental base particle of reality. Our reality is not a substance. Well, energy also has been energy is simply what we call a force, right?
Photon, radiation.
Okay, well, what's a photon made out of?
That's a good question. I know it can't be created, and therefore God didn't create it.
It cannot be created, right? Okay, so
there goes your
what
God.
is it made out of? What created it? It didn't exist eternally.
It can't be created.
I mean, according to you.
Here, let me give you an argument. Energy can't be created. Energy exists. Therefore, it's always existed. Which premise do you disagree with?
From our temporality, it could be perceived as always existing.
It's a logically sound argument that energy cannot be created.
It's enclosed within a specific logic.
It does exist. It's always existed. I have no reason to believe otherwise, and you have no evidence that it was created. So,
well, the idea that living nature was an act of creation,
matter's an emergent property of energy, and matter has all these other attributes that allow.
Okay, well, can I just say my argument?
Well,
I'm saying that
ran back in a circle.
Well, your claim is completely unfalsifiable because from the context of something that exists within living nature. Hold on, are you going to let me say it or not?
No, I'm not, because you just said what I said is unfalsifiable. That's a lie. If you have evidence that energy can be created, provide it.
The evidence would literally just be that we exist in living nature. That like living nature exists itself.
That is begging the question.
I know, but I'm saying that in order to...
So that's fallacious, therefore false, correct or wrong. Fallacies are not true, correct or wrong. So again, if there's no justification to believe in your God because there's no evidence for it. Energy can't be created. Energy exists. It's always existed. I have no justification to believe that it can be created, and you have not provided any. There is no evidence for a God, causally mechanism for anything, including life, including trees, including blah, 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 blah. These are all naturalistically explained in science. So,
okay, well, hold on. So energy has always existed. So there's this thing that is present in.
And I don't even grant that, by the way. I don't know, but I do know it's a sound argument right now.
Okay, well, are you making that argument, or are you just saying it?
I'm making it an argument. It's a sound argument.
So I'm gonna try to
now.
articulate. I'm gonna try to articulate where this could be seen as somewhat. I don't know. It seems illogical to me. So
how is it illogical? Which premise is
well,
wrong?
Can you let me explain it? Can you actually let me say my argument?
Yeah, if you actually fucking get to it and say P1 is wrong because God created it through this mechanism.
Okay. So there is energy that exists in living nature that is empirical. We observe it. It is the base of. I know you're laughing. Okay, but all of living nature undergoes a development. So I don't understand why it is more logical. Hold on. I'm not landing my. I do not understand why it is more logical to assume that something is eternal and always existing.
You want to know
when
the logic?
All of the phenomena that we observe in nature undergoes a dialectical development.
Matter, yeah, correct. Matter, which is an emergent property from the thing that you agree cannot be created. So again, where's God? What evidence do you have, dude? This is a stupid argument.
So the logic is that just energy is identical to the
idea of God. I gave you a sound argument. If you disagree, tell me where.
I'm saying that your argument that energy is eternal is literally the exact same argument for God. You just call it energy.
No, you are calling energy God because the definition of God
it's
is
the same thing. Then
nope,
it's literally the same thing.
Incorrect.
Then it's literally the same thing. Why is it not the same thing?
Incorrect. Well, I was in the middle of explaining it when you started saying it's the same thing, like a crybaby. So the definition of God in classical
I'm not the one
theism
soying
is
out over here. I've been pretty
soy
reasonable.
is amazing. I highly recommend you shut up so you can learn, though. So the classical definition of God.
Go log on
theism,
Reddit again.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. So the classical definition of theism is the theistic God is going to be an all-powerful creator of the universe. Energy is the universe. It's where it comes from. Energy.
So energy equals God.
No. Did you not hear the description? All powerful.
What's the difference?
All powerful creator of the universe. That implies creator of energy and creator of time. You cannot have causal relation without time. Therefore, that God cannot exist nor create anything if he did exist.
Well,
Therefore,
you said
your
that
God
energy is
real.
eternal, right? You said energy is eternal.
Yeah, but it's not an all-powerful creator of the universe with intelligence. It is not a God.
No, it's just the
energy.
common denominator. No, it's just the common denominator for all things.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same thing?
No.
No, orange. Also, eternity doesn't mean forever, as in like always existed and cannot not exist. For example, in physics, you have what's called B theory of time or block theory. And in that, there's two interpretations where there's infinite moments of time where like you can never stop counting backwards and you can never stop counting forwards in time.
Isn't that
There's
just like
another,
the Nietzsche's eternal return?
not quite, but the other theory is that you have a first moment and a last moment, so you have a finite amount of time where it's countable and you can count it. Both of those, in both situations, time and energy are eternal because all eternity means is for all time, and if it existed from the last moment or from the first moment to the last moment, then it existed for all time, aka eternal. What you're looking for is atemporal, outside of time. That's different.
Which is why I asked which God you believe in, and you answered
Well, you
Christian.
would have no way to show that because it would be outside of the
No, it's not
confines from which
possible,
we
brother.
see ourselves.
Brother,
It would
it's not
be
possible.
simply the evidence that you'd be required to establish what version of time is actually true. It would be simply impossible from within the context of time space, right?
It's irrelevant which version of time. So
Well,
B
I'm saying that.
theory. Well, no.
I'm saying that
So
the idea of God at this level, you'd have to know which time is accurate. In order to do
Nope.
that, it'd simply be impossible from
Thomas
within our context.
Thomas Aquinas presented his arguments to work in either situation.
Which is what? That energy is eternal?
No. He presented his arguments that a God exists whether or not time is finite or time is infinite. You don't need to know whether time is finite or time is infinite to prove that an atemporal cause of reality exists. That you don't need to know which one of those is true. You can make that conclusion. Now, whether that conclusion is convincing or whether you actually succeed in that conclusion is a different story altogether. But knowing whether time is finite or infinite is irrelevant to the God question.
Can I ask why?
Brother, you claimed Christianity when you first got up here, correct?
Yep.
The classical Abrahamic God is an all-powerful creator of the universe and space-time, therefore outside of time. Okay, there's no evidence for that, first of all. And second of all, it's not possible because without time, there's no causal relation to even be able to create. Therefore, your God doesn't exist. It's that simple. It's a debunk right then and there.
Well, we know that time exists. So how did time come into being?
I don't know.
If it doesn't, so again, this is going to be the argument being made is if time, so trying to argue, that's what Thomas Aquinas was pointing out, trying to argue whether time came into being or time had an existence or whatever the case may be is pointless because you have people who do think, and they can make a really good argument for it, that time was infinite. And even if time isn't infinite, you could still probably make for a finite time that has to exist because if there is absolute nothing, then you're in a changeless state because absolute nothing would also include no time. And if there is no time, there's no change.
Well, there's literally no evidence that there's an unchanging relationship of living nature to
No.
existence.
You misunderstand this. We are comparing two hypotheticals. So we are saying if. We aren't saying there is. We are saying if there is a changeless state, it is impossible because there is no time for it to go from a changeless state to a changing state because that is in and of itself a change. So then the question is, so then we know that either there was a changeless state that always will remain a changeless state, or there is a changing state that is always changing. We observe
it's
things
like what
changing.
the state of what? What state of what?
Nothing. That's the point. You said you were familiar with Kant. Are you familiar with Heidegger?
Yes.
Okay. Have you read Heidegger's Metaphysics where he talks about nothing?
No.
I would recommend it because that's what's being talked about here.
Okay. Well, what is okay.
So the philosophical nothing isn't the absence of something because that in and of itself is still a thing. It's because it's pointing towards a thing. And even when I'm trying to talk about this nothing, I am violating that because I am now pointing you towards a thing because we can only ever talk about subjects.
Isn't that the same thing as like Heraclitus talking about like the separation of form, right? Like fire, for example, that there's like these chaotic things and that because there is separate
because that chaos is still a thing. Like the nothing that's being talked about has no form, has no chaos, has like it's not even not order because that's what chaos is not order. It's not order, not chaos. It is there's no referential point. Because of that, it also can't be one that has change.
So it's just the dialectical opposite of Dasein, right?
Of just things that exist. It's like if there is this state of absolute nothing where you cannot have change, that means it can't change into a changing state. Yet we observe a changing state, so therefore there must always have been a changing state, whether that's finite or infinite. That's the argument that you're going to be coming up against. And now the next step is showing why this changing state is not sufficient for its own existence and requires something else in order to explain it. You're going to have people, though, who will argue that it is sufficient for its own explanation. That
As in,
is
like, it's
the
recursively, it has recursive ontology, basically.
Well, here's
well, in
my
the sense of like
problem
how
is
God
not
is
filling
independent.
gaps. So like
Yeah.
if there's certain things I just don't know, but to claim God is fallacious in and of itself.
Aren't you anthropomorphizing, though, the concept of God to a tremendous degree when you're
No, you
rejecting it like
said
this?
you're a Christian.
Me, so one, I am not anthropomorphizing God, and the God that I believe in is not anthropomorphized. And
He's
Cody
got
has
good
heard
arguments.
and Cody has heard my arguments and heard the God that I believe in, which is a Christian God and a Catholic God, but I guarantee you, it's probably not the one you were exposed to in Sunday school.
Yeah, Orange, you
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
seem
I'm
to be
not
Christian
arguing
to
for that
me.
either.
I think you would agree with
That's
his
why I
God.
said I'm taking a Hegelian approach of absolute spirit as being what is considered God.
And
Your
and
mic is still really low.
Seriously?
and you're still
Yeah.
going to have
Test,
some
test.
issues there. What
Why?
I was trying to get at was more of, if you have God in time, now this spirit is dependent on time, and now it can't be the grounding force of all things.
Well, the spirit would just basically what I was trying to allude to earlier with positive infinity. It would just simply posit that reality itself is a positive encapsulated infinity, which would also presuppose time.
Which isn't what most people mean by God, which I know is rich coming from me, but
Yeah, no, I think that it seems reasonable to articulate God in this way.
But most people, especially in philosophy, when they talk about God, it is some grounding force of reality. Even in the pagan, like Norse pagans, like their understanding of gods of their deities is some force of nature, some grounding force of reality.
Well, isn't that
And
just hermeneutics, right? Isn't this just basic hermeneutics? Is like God is how it is relayed to us through language?
no, so what I'm saying is that God is the grounding force of reality. Whether it is a grounding force of a part of reality or a grounding force of the totality of reality. If you are
Is
arguing
it
for
fair
a
to just say
singular,
that it's the common denominator of being?
kind of, but that's the problem, is if you put it within time, now it's dependent on time and it can't be the common denominator.
So, what is the contradiction here with time as it relates to God?
Because, as I was trying to say, if God, as you define it, is the common denominator or the ground of all being, and time and space have being, and God is within time and space, then that means that God is dependent on time and space. And if God
But
is
why
dependent
would
on
he be
time,
within time and space?
that's what you said.
No, I'm saying like the product, the artifact of God is this kind of absolute spirit, right? Like reality is the artifact of God, God living outside of it.
Well, that's not what you had said earlier. You had talked about God being energy, but energy is confined to space-time. So either God is not energy, because he's not confined to space-time,
I don't even
or
have a
he is
problem with
energy.
that though. Like if you, I practice things and I don't worship it, but the universe is the closest thing we'll ever have to a God, and I grant that argument. But when you say that there's a creator of the universe, that's where you have to provide evidence, because when people say God, they don't mean the universe.
It seems reasonable to me that the development in living nature assumes some sort of creative.
How?
Order assumes creativity at some level.
No, it doesn't. Not even a little bit.
Okay.
Gravity, brother. Gravity has order, and it's caused by spatial curvature. It has nothing to do with an outside force.
Well, what
or
causes
mind.
a spatial curvature?
Mass. And what causes mass? Energy. It all goes back to energy,
so
dude.
it's all energy.
So
Everything
if
is
you
just,
want to worship
it's just
energy
relationships
as
with
a
energy,
god, you
so
can.
yes.
So if you want to
So
worship
energy,
God, again.
Well, no, not energy as a god, but energy as the artifact of God.
Yeah, but no, there is no God. Energy is not a god.
According to you.
According to definition, according to philosophy, according to science, according to everyone except for you.
Everyone except for me believe. I think that's a little.
What does it mean for something to be an artifact of God but not God?
Basically, the separation of form and content. The form of what we would understand as God would be represented in something
link
empirical
energy to
like
God.
energy, but the content behind it would be something
You
more
have to
all-encompassing.
prove that.
So
You are using a God of the Gaps
what
argument.
Cody is at, yeah, what Cody is asking for is for you to prove the content. Okay, we both agree that the
I
form
think
exists.
it's
We both agree
impossible
that
to prove it at the level that Cody is requiring, but I'm simply
I think
saying that
it's
I think it's
possible.
reasonable to make this assumption. That's
I
basically
think
the
it's
entire
possible.
argument.
I don't think it's reasonable at
Okay,
all.
how do you? I'm curious. What how do you think it's
It's
possible?
on my profile. It's a long argument.
You would like Catholic's arguments for sure. I'm sure that you would actually subscribe to his Thomistic
Yeah,
Catholicism.
that sounds
100%.
interesting.
But it's
Again, I'm not
on
the
my
smartest guy in
profile.
the world. I don't know like a lot. I'm just saying that it seems
It's
reasonable to me.
it's on my profile. The video is about 7 minutes long. I tried to make the argument as short as possible, but it just, in order to
It
achieve
doesn't
the goal
feel
that I
long,
was
dude.
looking for.
You did good. It
And you
doesn't feel
said you
long.
talked to Kantbot about this?
To who?
Kantbot, you said you talked to about
No,
this?
Kantbot showed up on a live that if it's the one that I'm thinking of, because I
Oh,
can't
cool.
imagine there's many Kantbots. He showed up on a live before that I was hosting, and was just a Phil bro.
Do you know Logo Daedalus?
I do not.
I'm
still really new to the whole TikTok debate environment.
He's not he's like an old school like Twitter guy. He's pretty famous for like being openly Christian. And him and Kantbot had a podcast for a while. They had a falling out over, I think, Kantbot's like kind of like more liberal tendencies or whatever. You know what I mean? He's more of like a reactionary, I guess.
Oh,
But
it might be a different one then, because like this was in TikTok literally on like Wednesday.
So
okay.
here's where I want to go with this, Orange, because we have come to a conclusion that I don't grant that there isn't an external mind behind all of it. Okay. And you're saying that you cannot prove it, which I agree, in regards to the justification that I would accept. Here is my next challenge to you. Why should I grant your epistemology, and what is wrong with mine?
I think yours does a disservice to the type of concept of truth and meaning within our daily existence.
I think it answers it
as
perfectly.
a sort of cold flattening of all experience, in
How?
my opinion.
I care about what's right or wrong, not whether there's inherent meaning to life.
I think meaning, truth, right or wrong, these are all the same things. But I think that this type of rote empiricism is myopic towards a sort of more intuitive truth that is being expressed over time
It
through
grants
relationships
intuition
that
too,
matter.
but there's justification of causal mechanism for it. So why should I grant something
Yeah,
that
but
doesn't
eventually,
have evidence?
eventually you run into what is the genesis of what creates what, a chicken or the egg argument, which we've ended up in is energy. And so to me that seems cold and indifferent.
How is that cold?
Because it has
It's a
no
fact.
beginning. It is an eternal, cold,
Correct.
purposeless.
And is it false?
Correct.
Correct. There's no purpose. Correct.
Right.
But it's
to
evidence.
me, it seems that the fact that we are subjective creatures that have sentience, that had developed over time, that transform nature over time, that the development of living nature has actually built upon itself. I think that having something cold and
brother, it's not even cold,
logical,
it's gorgeous.
doesn't give a kind of purview into the future, into the ultimate like reconciliation.
That's just
of, like,
false
living
in
nature.
general. Empiricism is the most accurate way of defining and creating and testing to be able to have scientific advances in medicine, biology, etc. for the future. You don't use phenomenology to be able to
you can look at
progress
Lenin's
society.
empiriocriticism and dialectical materialism like this.
And
These
I will,
are
but you haven't
empiricism
provided a
has been
single argument for
discredited.
it.
Empiricism as like a arbiter of truth has kind of been discredited
False.
even within.
That is just
no
objectively false.
Okay, again,
it is literally the most accurate arbiter of truth when it comes to the natural world. You have zero justification for anything except for it doesn't feel nice, so I don't want to grant it. That's your only argument that you've provided for me.
Well,
is
no,
it doesn't
I'm talking
feel good.
about empiricism as like you can only assume reality based on subjective experiential
False.
observation. That's what empiricism is,
False.
by the way.
False.
Okay.
Again, so we test our observations against the objective reality, and if we are wrong, it will be proven wrong by reality itself.
Yeah, but again, that's transcendentally mediated by the brain.
Say whatever the fuck you want. It's comparing it to objective reality, making the conclusions objectively true, and you still have no justification for why your framework is more accurate, true, coherent, or logical at all. You've provided nothing except for it feels bad. That's not a fucking argument.
Well, I also provided that the patterns we observe and live in nature
natural.
are
Explain through
developmental.
evolution. That has nothing to do with a god.
They're developmental.
It is natural means through allele frequency over generations. There is nothing mind dependent required for that at all.
But even evolution, as far as it pertains to like how phenotypical
Which is an
results and
objective
forms
fact.
come into, they are also participated upon by the organism itself. It is not simply dead strings of information like DNA.
We got inorganic to organic, organic to self-replicating to sex, etc., etc. And now here we are because we luckily have a brain.
Even the process of heredity is just that, a process.
Yeah.
Much like the development of nature itself. It's not just DNA.
It's a natural
for example.
mechanistic process. Yes.
It's a metabolism that is held by organic life.
That is a
basically.
stupid way to phrase that. It is natural processes
No, it's
through
not.
allele frequency changes over time. That is the definition.
Of what? Heredity?
Of evolution, heredity, allele frequency changes. That is changes in the genes from generation to generation. That is what evolution is.
Oh, no. There's no such thing as a gene or unit of heredity. It's just DNA is just a part of the heritable process.
Genes.
You inherit a metabolism.
You
genes
inherit
are a repository
genes.
of information.
X
genes are just a
chromosomes.
repository of information the cell does fit.
Where
does
is
what it sees
Ravis when I
fit.
need him?
Dude,
oh my god.
There are identical amino acid chains that create different proteins. Like
it's all
there's a lot of
100%
contradictions.
natural without any
Epigenetics
spirit.
exists,
Where's the
like,
fucking
punctuated
spirit?
equilibrium.
Holy shit, dude, shut up. Where's the spirit?
I'm just saying, like, your idea of heredity.
It is 100%
completely...
natural. Heredity is through the allele frequency changes through generations by the literal definition of evolution. It is proven time and time again, over and over and over. It's an objective fact about reality of where we come from. It has nothing to do with the spirit.
DNA,
it has nothing to do with feelings.
DNA is affected by both
dude, you need to learn how to shut the fuck up. You
organism itself and.
Was I the only one feeling deja vu?
Oh my god.
What I'm feeling right now is all I was hearing was word salad. I like have no idea what was going on.
His final argument was, it doesn't feel good to have no inherent purpose to life, so I don't grant it.
Well, the other thing is, like, his argument was very much the same as the last guy's.
Yep. That's what I'm saying is, like, there's like a fad in these Phil bros in their discords where they learn about some new philosopher and then they spread it around and all of them go on to live streams and argue the exact same argument over and over.
Well, yeah, it's because Kant and Hegel are starting to get a little bit of a name for themselves. It's interesting. I mean, I even listened to Hegel
Jaden,
before, but
we're not when we say Hegel and Kant, we're not talking about the guys on TikTok. They're philosophers.
Okay.
I don't care if you're a Marxist. I couldn't care less. There's still no God. If you want to worship energy as God, go for it. It's not the definition of God. I can also change my fucking shoelace to the definition of God. You don't get to just fucking swap definitions. There is no God. There is no evidence for God. You conceded to that. You conceded. You agreed with my argument about energy. You concede now, even in chat, that the beginning had nothing to do with an external spirit. You conceded. And you still wanted to fucking tangent on horseshit about your feelings.
The mighty shoelace.
There's nothing wrong with soy. Cry harder, bitch. What the fuck? You got fucking schooled in a debate and now you're gonna cry in chat? Cry harder. I don't give a fuck about your feelings or my feelings. I care about the fucking facts, dude. Go to a different fucking channel that cares about feelings. Dude, go cry in your corner. Enjoy the cuck chair. Get Jesus in here. Ugh. What's up, Jesus? What's up, Jesus? Okay.
I know that felt so ironic to say.
Yeah, tofu's awesome. There's nothing wrong with soy. Soy has more protein than regular meat anyway.
I've never had soy.
Oh, you can re-request up.
There's two things looking at this profile picture of his. Is one going to be a troll or somebody with no brain?
It's definitely a troll. Yeah, that's incorrect, Dylan, factually. So consuming soy does not change your estrogen to a degree of harm in any ways whatsoever.
Yeah, troll guarantee.
Yeah, you're not coming up here then, Jesus. Oh, God. I wasn't expecting hardcore solipsis today.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting day. Man, I would love if Sun Carp Diamond came up here. He's been talking about the Bible like this whole time, just ranting. And it's been so long since I've battled scripture with anybody. Nobody wants to do it with me anymore.
If
so
you guys
bad.
want to talk scripture, I'll let Jaden kick your ass at that. We have 2.5 hours sober. Request up whenever you're ready, brother. Do Cody end the live stream and just leave the chat running, or is it just me? What? I'm here.
Oh.
It's showing that it's still live. What?
The live's still going.
Interesting.
Then request up, son, because I'll keep quiet because everyone else up here is are non-believers, so I won't argue with you.
I don't even count you as a believer.
Catholic, are you actually a Catholic or is that just?
He is, yes.
No, I legitimately am, and that's what surprised Cody a lot. Is what
That's what's
I'm
surprising me.
what I say, like as far as like what God is and everything else, like that actually is within Catholic theology and everything else. It's hard to like it's very deep and high theology, but it's within Catholic teaching.
Jaden, I
Hey,
think
I
if
have
you
a-
debated him, you would probably convert. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I have a friend that would get me out of it real fast. But yeah, I actually do have a friend that you might actually have some fun talking to. He's an ex-Catholic. He was a Catholic for 20 years. I'm pretty sure he may have been a priest. I don't remember.
No Catholics are gonna agree with what he has to say.
You don't think so? Well, he's an
No.
ex-Catholic, so.
No, I'm saying Catholic
Oh,
thinker
sorry.
here. I don't think any actual Catholic. He doesn't follow what you. When you think of Catholic in the Bible, that's not Catholic thinker.
I am highly requested at a lot of churches I go to teach their classes. So.
That's fucking good because I think that they need to learn what you do anyway. But yeah, not mainstream. That's a good way to say it. Son, what is up, brother?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. First question: Are you at least 18 or older?
I'm 43 and I'm a believer.
Okay, so I want to bring you over to 1 Samuel 15 with me. All right, we're gonna read this here. Samuel said to Saul, "The Lord sent me to anoint your king over his people."
Wait, pause. Whoa. First
Sure.
of all, son, which God do you believe in?
The Judeo-Christian God.
Okay. What kind of argument did you want to have?
I didn't really want to have an argument. I just was hailed by Catholic.
Well, I mean,
to come on. So
I'm an atheist. Should I believe in your
have a
God?
dialogue.
Jaden's an atheist. Should we believe in your God?
Yeah, personally, but on a professional situation, I wouldn't describe God as my God. I mean, if we want to have a theology about God, that's different than choosing my God as the God.
Who let out the insane asylum today?
I don't know. Scripture doesn't support what you're saying at all. I mean, if you look somewhat at the New Testament, it does, but that's also just the New Testament authors trying to push that narrative.
Mhm.
But when you look at the Old Testament, absolutely not.
Well, that's the reason Christ was crucified. Was he God of the Old Testament, or was he blaspheming? And his claim was that he was. And it explained it through all of the revising he did in the Old New Testament.
He wasn't in any way, shape, or form Yahweh. He prayed to Yahweh, and he was crucified for blasphemy.
Well, they had this dispute in the Council of Nicaea, and my point of view was won over everyone else's concept of God. They concluded that Christ was part of the Trinity and that he was God. So it's not something I'm coming up with.
I look at Scripture. I don't care what anybody else has to say about it. I look at what Scripture says, and Scripture says otherwise. So unless you can bring me to a verse that directly says that Jesus is God or points to it without it being a metaphorical way, then go ahead. But I'll look at Jesus' actions and not what other people had to say about him. Jesus himself never even claimed to be God. So for other people to go, oh, he's my Lord, or any of that, it's just hypocritical. That's their claim, not anybody else's within the Scripture, not Jesus himself. And that's the biggest person
Thomas
here.
claimed it, but that's just one. Well, you'd have to look at the Old Testament and how it claims what God is and what he describes as only things he can do.
The Old Testament, Yahweh is only
Christ
for
did
Israel.
was almost as an example to prove that he was this God. Calming the storms, raising the dead, coming into the synagogue and reading Isaiah 61. I mean, if that's not a dead giveaway.
Fine. He's divine, I'll admit that, but he isn't Yahweh.
Okay. Well, there is only one God, and if he's divine, which God is he? I mean, I used to be a
divine. There's a difference between a God and divinity.
I had this argument as well, where they don't believe Jesus is God. They believe he's a God, and I couldn't grasp the idea of him being just a God when there's supposed to be one God. So either he's lying, he's crazy, or he was telling the truth.
Jesus never claimed to be God. He never came close to it. This whole idea of Jesus that is constantly thrown around in the New Testament is that he was a humble son of the Lord, and the Lord is Yahweh. And when you look at the the Old Testament,
it's not Yahweh, it's YHWH, but we could guess on the vowels.
That's just how I see it. But when you look at the Old Testament, it is constantly reaffirming that he is only the God of the Israelites. Deuteronomy 32:8.
Right.
Literally, I mean, come on.
Christ came to save Israel. He came for his people. He would die from his people. It was all about Israel at the time because that was the centerpiece of where the message would spread. I mean, they were the oracle race.
I can agree with that.
But I can't dispute whether Jesus is God. He's my God. I read the Bible. I read the stories. I like the concept of it. I also watch Marvel's Avengers. I love Thor now. Didn't like Thor as a kid. I thought it was a boring mythology, but I'm a Thor guy now. But if we want to go serious, yeah, Jesus is my thing, and I have no excuse for it.
I mean, that's fair enough. I definitely expect that you take kind of like an agnostic stance on this, but for my stance specifically here is that Jesus can't be a god because he prayed. It wouldn't make any sense. Like, it kind of puts you in a pickle there the moment you look at that action, because now you have option one, Jesus is not a god, he may be divine, or two, you're in a box where he's where the author's just completely fucked up, and this was an oh shit moment.
Well, it probably is the latter because
No audio.
according to Paul,
Son, you have no audio.
I hear him.
Oh, that's on my end. I have no audio.
Interesting.
I can't hear shit. What the fuck? Oh, wait, I know why. I'll be right back, Cody.
So I'm going to follow up with where Jaden was going, son. So it sounds like you just claim Jesus as your God.
Well, it's a hereditary thing. I got it from my mom. She was a Christian, and I'm a Western Hemisphere born person.
Yep.
Started off as Roman Catholic, became Jehovah's Witness.
So you shouldn't believe in a God then, because it doesn't exist.
Because it was driven down my throat, I didn't believe in a God when I turned 19. But because of a supernatural experience, I would say.
How do you know it was
became
supernatural?
Something that I credited to, Jesus.
Yeah. How do you know it was supernatural?
I sort of died and came back to life.
Yeah.
But it could be a coma. I don't know.
Well,
I wasn't around during that.
So is it correct for me to assume that you had an experience, an NDE, you didn't die, they did not give you a time of death, and you were in a hospital or something of the sorts, they resuscitated you?
Yeah, it was something
so
like
you
that.
weren't dead, otherwise they would have given up and you'd have a toe tag right now, but
yeah, but
that's not evidence of a supernatural.
So yeah, you're probably right. I wasn't dead.
Yeah.
Because wherever I was like one of those.
When you're dying, your brain is flooded with DMT and you hallucinate. So whatever you saw is just a hallucination, and there's no justification to believe that anything supernatural exists.
But ever since, I've lived my life according to what I saw, and it's been working in a way where it's
I can grant that.
with what
Yeah.
the Bible says.
I can absolutely grant that. That's called confirmation bias. It's not real.
Right.
But I can
But
grant
like
it.
I was telling him earlier about the Council of Nicaea. I mean, once Rome became the Holy Roman Empire, and our program has been established that Christianity is the norm.
Can I cut you off? I genuinely don't care. I don't care about the history. I don't care about what's actually said in the Bible, like, at all. I just care about whether there's evidence or not to justify any of it as true.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out, like, in 2026 where your mindset was developed to go against the norm of, okay, everyone on the Western Hemisphere, especially in America, have a program of belief in Christ.
If every single person on planet Earth believed the Earth was flat, does that make it true?
No, but
yeah.
at
So
the
I
same
follow
time,
evidence to
if
find
the Bible
truth.
said it was flat, and it
The
turned
Bible
out to
does
be
say
wrong.
that it's flat, and it is wrong.
Well, Isaiah said the God looks at the circle of the earth.
Yeah, and then it also says that the shape of the earth is that of a pressed seal. Like, the Bible claims a flat Earth.
I don't know if it does.
It also says there's a solid dome above it called a firmament, so it literally talks about the Earth being that of a snow globe. It's just false.
It could be. I've never.
It also says that snakes talk, donkeys talk, rabbits chew cud. 2 people created all of people in 6,000 years. It talks about a global flood. That's horseshit. It talks about a man walking on water and turning water to wine. That's horseshit. It talks about a lot of horseshit
I
shit.
mean, logically, it would be. I mean, that's where I'm coming from in the sense of, okay, let's imagine this was the Matrix.
It's not, so I'm not going to imagine that.
Okay, what would prove to you that you would take the red pill and get out of it? Nothing.
Substantial
Nothing
evidence.
would.
Substantial evidence.
Substantial
And there's no
evidence.
evidence to
I mean,
believe that. There's no
There
evidence
would
to
be
believe in
none.
God. There's no evidence to believe the Bible is true.
Why there would be no one leaving the Matrix for what would
You're
turn out to be
presupposing
worse
that it is a
reality.
Matrix-like thing. There is no evidence to justify that. We live in objective.
Well,
I
they
live in
say we live
objective
in a
reality.
holographic simulation.
That's false.
There's
That's
all these
false. That's false.
theories,
That's false.
scientists,
That's false. That's false. There's
I'm
no
more
evidence
of
to
a
justify it.
glass
I'm not a conspiracy
half
theorist. I
empty
believe in
cup.
facts.
Right. I mean, I agree with you. I just my belief is a fate. It's
Yeah,
not
that's stupid.
science. It's not something where I'm
Faith,
gonna
by
sit there
definition,
and
is belief
correct
without
things.
evidence, and I just find that stupid because that just spreads what's called indoctrination, spreading beliefs uncritically, and
But
that
you
can
haven't
lead to
had a
danger.
come to Jesus moment yet.
Yes,
where,
I have.
you had an
Anyways, there's
accident
no
and-
evidence.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I'd want to hear about that.
Yeah, whenever you have an experience, you're supposed to think critically, which you failed to do so, which is why you believe in a God. And whenever I
Yeah, I
think
was
critically about
brought
these
up on
experience, I find natural
and I
causes for the
find it
mechanism, and there's no such thing as a supernatural.
that makes sense. It's just I don't see how you could stay in that stance with the waves.
Because there's no evidence for it. It's that simple.
But there's no evidence for aliens. But
Yeah,
conclusion,
there is.
Exactly, and you'd go into all these reasons. But if I were to say, well, show me an alien, or make one magically appear,
I can show
or
you
worship
mathematical probability for alien life in comparison to the life that is here on Earth, and we have actually found microbes, like little germs and whatnot, at least ancient evidence that they could have existed. We have plenty of evidence and justification, or at least reason, to believe that there is most plausibly other life on other planets. They're not going to look like fucking human beings, but yeah, there most plausibly is. There is no evidence at all to justify any reasoning that there is a God. Yeah, but there's evidence. But there's evidence.
Right.
There is no evidence for a God.
But the lack of evidence in itself is the proof that the Christian God knew that you really need faith and not sight or science.
Or that's evidence that people wrote a fucking book.
They didn't though. During the Council of Nicaea,
they wrote it. Humans wrote it. Who wrote it?
Archaeological.
Who wrote it? Who wrote it? Stop going back to the same horse shit. I don't give a fuck about it. Who wrote it?
Who wrote it? Men.
There you go.
Inspired by God.
That's a claim. That's a claim. Right. Yeah, that's stupid. That's stupid. That's stupid.
I mean, and if we look at these guys who wrote it, during their time, they were goat herders and sheep shepherds.
Right, and now we have a lot of science, and we know that they were dumb.
2026. We're in 2026, and we're still disputing it as if they weren't dumb. Is credibility within itself that they had a higher knowledge.
Are you kidding me? No, it's not. There's no evidence. What are you talking about? Yes, I can. 100%. You want me to dispute the Bible right now? Genesis. Yeah, if Einstein himself said unicorn farts heal broken bones, I'd call him a dumbass. I don't give a fuck if a scientist says something. I care about the evidence. That's stupid.
What were you going to say about Genesis?
Yeah, Genesis 1:1. God created the heavens and the earth. Genesis 1:14, day 4, he created the sun. False! The earth is younger than the sun.
No, that said, let there be light, I believe.
No.
But then
Oh my
later
God,
ladder,
no.
it said there be dominant.
No.
characters,
John
the
1.
sun and the
John 1 is let there be light. Genesis 1 is in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Have you never read your book?
But what does it say in Hebrew as earth? Is it Sarah or is it earth?
The
I
earth.
believe. Okay. See, there's where I have a little issue because
I don't care.
there's
It's
some
your
words
issue.
in
You're
translation.
changing words. You're
For
interpreting it
instance,
different.
Everywhere where you see hell, it's not really hell. It could be Sheol, Gehenna, Tartarus, which is a Greek term.
Don't do drugs, kids. That guy was just annoying. Yeah, and I agree with Einstein and Spinoza to a degree. I haven't read enough Spinoza yet. I'm starting off my readings of Spinoza with ethics. That's going to be the start of my reading on him.
Just real quick. So Genesis 1 is, as you said, in the beginnings, God created the heavens and the earth. John 1 is, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
Yep.
God created light is Genesis 3.
Gen 3.
Genesis 1, verse 3, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. That's true.
Not that it disproves your point that you were making.
No, you're right. I said it wrong. I appreciate that. Abstain their vote and pray instead. Cody, stop reading books and go watch. I don't know what that is. All right, I got a caller over on YouTube. I'm going to get up in here. Hello, Light.
Hello, hello.
Hey there. You over the age of 18, man?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Which religion do you follow?
That's a very interesting question because I get asked that a lot. I was born Christian. I was born into a Christian family. I've had good examples and bad examples of what Christian should mean. And so I've kind of had the discernment, if you will, the spirit of discernment to discern, you know, what is the positive thing.
Jesus Christ is Lord, correct? Oh, I think you went off of the app. I can't hear you. Come back.
Oh, hello, hello. Yeah.
There you are. So Jesus Christ is Lord, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
Jesus
you're a
Christ is
Christian.
Lord.
Sweet. So why should I believe in God?
Yeah. Can I rephrase the word Christian?
No, because Christian literally means Christ follower.
Christian instead of Christian. I think his early followers were called the, and so I think we need to be the way that he is. And so if he was basically an example, you know what I mean? He was basically an example, and he was basically we were meant to be just as him, basically. Without any judgment, do you think I could share with you a vision that I had?
I
But
couldn't
it's not
care
just
less
a
about
single.
it.
Okay.
Why
Well,
should I
I know
believe in
you're.
a
I know
God?
you're. I know you're an evidence-based guy, and so I want to give you this experience with the evidence that I have. Well, it is subjective as far as experience, but it did happen in multiple days, and it did happen with a different being as well. It's not necessarily.
We lost you again.
Sorry, brother. Sorry. My phone keeps turning off.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm gonna So I had an encounter with the god Horus, randomly. First of all, what do you need to know about my life for me to basically say that I'm not crazy, I'm not delusional? I don't usually see things, you know, with my, you know, inner eye, I guess you could say. But this was while working. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with this message that I was given. And again, I don't see these things regularly. I don't hear things. This is just a pure experience that I went through. And this is a central message that has been given to me that I have been spreading. And as far as like the level of consciousness that it takes for somebody to understand this type of information, it is given to me in a specific way. Anyways, do you have any questions first and foremost?
I'm just waiting for the evidence, dude.
Okay, for sure. All right, ready? I'm gonna call my dog real quick. Come on, Mimi. Let's go. Do you mind if I set my stuff down really quick, brother?
Okay.
Okay. So I was going through a rough period in my life, right? I felt like all areas of my life were like in a cocoon.
Let's
Leave
do
relationships.
it this
I was
way.
in a really bad spot.
Let's do it this way because I
Okay.
don't
You
care.
tell me how to present myself.
Yeah. So skip the filler and just say I was praying and this happened, or I got hit by a bus and I survived and God fucking whatever the fucking experience actually was. I don't care about how hard of a time life was. I don't care about all that stuff.
Okay. I'm just trying to be considerate of like how people perceive this information because I wanna make sure that I say it
care.
with with effortlessness or
I
whatever.
only care about what
Okay.
happened and the
Ready,
evidence
brother?
that justifies the causal mechanism.
Okay, I'm just gonna give you all the pieces, okay? So I was driving for Amazon, and I'm a pretty spiritual guy. Like I go into meditation, I meditate, I pray, I do all of these things. And so I was working at some point for Amazon as a driver. And at this point in my life, I noticed something interesting. Like I know the term energy is interesting, your stuff energetically, and I noticed the left side of my eye was energetically different from the right side of my eye. I started playing with it. And anyways, at a certain point, as I was walking, as I was delivering the package, I closed my eyes as I was walking and I saw the word Horus. And that is the Egyptian god Horus. And so I started doing research, and so I noticed that Horus basically is the third eye, the inner eye, or whatever. It's related to the pineal gland. If you know what the pineal gland is, are you aware?
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Okay.
Your third eye
Sorry,
opened
my
up.
girlfriend keeps trying to call me, and so that's why I'm sick right now. And I'm like, dude, like, chill out. You know what I mean? Okay. So let's get to it. So I ended up seeing the word Horus, and I ended up doing research.
Phone disconnected.
And I just, I'm so sorry that I'm saying this in like a really frantic way. I really want to try to get this as smooth as possible. There is a mechanism behind this, and it is physical. Basically, Jesus showed up to me as well while I was driving. All I did was straighten my back, and I saw myself outside of my body, looking inside of my brain. And inside of my brain, I saw that, like, I literally saw the dashboard, everything. I saw the dashboard. I saw myself driving. I saw the dashboard. I saw myself driving, and I looked at inside of my brain, and I saw this purple glow coming from inside my brain. And I shit you not, man, I saw this light being like Jesus, like the Rio de Janeiro kind of like Jesus statue with his arms open wide, and he was inside of my pineal gland. And I guess I snap out of it. I'm still driving, by the way, on the freeway, driving this big ass step van. And I later, like a week after, I'm sitting in my backyard, right? And I promise you, I only took like 2 puffs of weed, literally 2 puffs. And like I swear to God, like this is all I took, 2 puffs of weed. And I'm sitting in my backyard, and I have an orange tree, and there's an orange tree to the left of me. And all of a sudden, like I'm looking up, and I don't know why, but my gaze just went boom, and it hit the orange tree. And I'm looking at my orange tree, and I see that it looks like a brain. It has a left kind of hemisphere, there's a right hemisphere, there's a divot at the top, kind of to signify kind of like a separation a little bit, and there's a little stem. What is that? What is that?
You found God while stoned out of your mind.
No. Bro, please stay with me. Promise me. I promise this gets better. This gets really good, but it's gonna challenge. You know what I mean? It's basically gonna challenge you. But anyways, there's a little stem coming down the middle, and it looks exactly like a brain. And I shit you not, man. This never happens. I saw like a buzzing coming in and manifesting this image of Christ on the cross. And I even saw his head kind of tilted to the right, I believe. I believe it was the right. It was either the left or the right. I don't know, but I saw his head tilted a certain direction. And to me, because I practice meditation, because I involve myself in esoterics, kind of like the nature of reality, you know, the Fibonacci sequence, you know, the golden ratio, you know, all these different types of things, I believe reality is multidimensional, and I believe we are multidimensional. But Einstein talks about, was it Einstein that talked about parallel universes, or was it Hawking? I know. I know. You're mad at me, huh? Anyways, the message is, do you see the symbology at least?
I see that you smoked weed and then had an imaginative thing happened after a long, hard day of strenuous work in the sun and another hallucination.
No, it was an actual just chill day. It was a chill day. I literally only took 2 puffs, and I was just chilling there for a minute. But literally, my gaze, like I don't know how to explain. My gaze just literally just went boom and stared at my orange tree, and then literally this not physical, but like this manifestation just came in. And okay, so his heart was where the pineal gland was, and so if you know where, have you ever heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza? I know I'm getting into a lot. This is why I was like a little bit like flustered saying all this stuff. I know it's not mainstream Christian. I know it's not mainstream religion. I think we were lied to. I think there's a lot that is like misconstrued for like politics or however you say that for like politics and domination over people. I think there is secrets that are being kept. from people about who we truly are. And I think because okay, so the scripture that pops out at me in this scenario is that the kingdom of heaven lives within, and God lives within you. That is apparently the message, right? Where does God live within you? And God basically showed me where he lived. Like your crown, your head is basically the throne. The pineal gland is the seat of the soul, and your head is basically the firmament, if I will. Because if we go into the realm of chakras, the pineal gland is the last physical chakra in that religion, in that philosophy, and then it goes up to the crown. So I think there are blends of information that we can learn from different points of view, and I think we can kind of piece together the puzzles of what's truly being said. What is truly the message that we're trying to get to. Of course we want to live in a world of love. Of course we want to live in the world of peace. Of course we want to live abundantly without being stressed out, you know what I mean? But we have to act on our passion, you know what I mean? And what does it mean to love effortlessly? What does it mean to love unconditionally? You know what I mean? How do you love unconditionally? How do you go through the world that's, that's for some people it's rotting. For some people it's getting brighter and it's getting lighter, and there's a lot of love in the world. It depends where you look. And so I encourage you to look in a multidimensional way, because that is the way that you are. Logically, you can look at something as chemistry, something as art, something as science, something as building blocks of reality, whatever you want to call it. But basically all of these major religions are pointing to one thing. And I know that you're looking for evidence, but we need to empower experience, because people can truly have visual experiences. How do we have those visual experiences? How do we have those divine experiences? How do we have visions? How do we tap more into who we truly are? You know what I mean? How do we tap more into what God is supposed to do to flow into our lives? You know what I mean? And that does come with lessons. That comes with acceptance. That comes with grace. That comes with and even the Buddhist monks say, like in the old days, like the most spiritual thing you could do is chop wood and carry water. And that teaches you patience, and that teaches you kindness, and that teaches you love, and that teaches you all the necessary things that you need in life. But you
Bro,
have
are you
to know
done?
that everything is here and now. You know what I mean? Like all time, all space, and all energy. I believe it equates to zero. If I'm not mistaken, I believe there was some calculation that was done that I don't know. I need to do research or whatever. But basically, I believe in a dimension where there is a dimension outside of time, a dimension outside of space, a dimension outside of physical reality. And the more that I try to seek that, the more that I actually the more that I actually come across people that are like-minded in those ways, and then I piece the puzzles together. You know what I mean? I think near-death experiences and researching near-death experiences would be extremely beneficial for anybody that is trying to find some sort of experience. And there's lessons to be learned in those. There's lessons to be learned from and take everything with a grain of salt. Take everything with a grain of salt, and only look at the take what resonates, and take what's positive, and take what's encouraging, and take what's expansive. It's supposed to be expansive for us to experience these things, not constrictive. Thank you, appreciate it. I got in a good flow there.
Oh shit, he's done. Oh man. Yeah, that was absolutely butt fuck nothing. You're stoned now, and you were stoned when you saw that shit. There you go.
Brother, this is when I get in the flow and I just let information go,
That
I think
wasn't flow.
that is like key to
that was
listen.
mouth diarrhea.
No. Because I stutter, and then I was trying to find my
There
balance
wasn't a
because I'm
single
trying to
stutter
get
in
my
there. You just like kept fucking going like a merry-go-round. Someone turned on the lawnmower and it did not run out of gasoline. So I
Hey,
asked you
because
for
I thought,
evidence of
you
God,
know
and
what?
you went down a tangent of love and kindness. And what the fuck?
Yes,
You got
yes.
high. Congratulations. You're a stoner. You're a stoner. Well, great talk. Have a good one. What's up, sober?
You know, I was hearing him out, but then you cut him off.
I would rather spoon my eyeballs out.
Well, you would still have your third eye, so it's okay.
Oh my god. All right, I have another on YouTube, and we also have one on TikTok. I'm gonna do the YouTube one first. So Vilena, I'll get you up here in a second. Jaden, we'll get you up once we get the TikTok guy up. By the way, they cannot hear you on YouTube. All right. Vilena, how's it going? You are unmuted. You are live. What is up? How diddly do? How the fuck are you? All right, bet. Cool. Let's go over to the TikToks. They won't even let me hang up on them. Ah. Interesting. Okay. They'll just sit in queue, I guess. Okay, let's get Brainless in here and Jaden. What is up, Brainless?
How you doing?
Doing all right, man. You over the age of 18?
I am 25.
All right, which religion are we arguing for? And I swear to God, if you mention a third eye.
Third eye? Nah.
I have
One
to
thing I do
fucking
wanna
drop
say-
real quick.
I have-
Just let me right back up real fast.
All right, what you got, Brainless? Which religion?
Honestly, all of them, in a sense. I just want to. All right. Do you mind if I mouth diarrhea real quick?
No, oh yeah, I definitely mind. Which god?
It's-
All the gods?
Well, not necessarily. More or less, it draws back to human nature. So, one thing that I've learned was that human nature draws agency to certain objects, right? So, you see a face in the clouds, or you see an animal somewhere, somehow. That's a survival tactic. And so, theoretically, right, these agencies that we have created in our minds, given name, given structure, if you will, is all just part of human nature. So the quote-unquote gods are innately human.
Fucking what?
Okay. So
I think what he's trying to say is that God is just us applying pattern recognition to all of reality and seeing a quote unquote face in reality.
yeah.
Third eye.
Nope, not third eye.
No,
Human brain.
more of like it is. So just like how you can go into the forest and you see a face on a tree,
I need
but the
beer.
face isn't actually there. But the face isn't actually there. He's saying that God is us doing that to all of
That is called pareidolia, my friend in Odin. It is pareidolia. It is a normal psychological reaction to seeing things in your brain filling in the patterns that aren't there. Where the fuck?
Chakra.
I give up on humanity. Today has just been like grippy sock after grippy sock after grippy sock.
It's like people just drank battery acid and came up.
Pretty fucking much. Brainless, you're off of the app. We can't hear you. Okay, nice chat. Oh, wait, he's back on the app. You gonna unmute?
Okay, sorry about that.
There
I
you are.
had to cook a phone call.
Okay, cool. Okay, so
Anyways,
yeah,
so
pareidolia.
Pareidolia. What about it?
Yeah, it's psychological. It's just your brain filling in missing patterns to fill the pattern to make something that doesn't make sense make sense.
But what if it did make sense? Like, what if all we needed was, say, the wind blows or the tree grows?
That
But
what? The wind blows. Congrats. What the fuck does
Right.
that have to do with
That-
you seeing something?
The aspect of agency.
Yeah, you observe things.
Like, if
Congratulations.
pareidolia, so if pareidolia is the, what'd you say? You see a face in the distance that's not truly there,
Yeah.
correct? What if it's the same, just to a heightened level? We have a lot more information than we do today than we did
Brother,
back then.
this is neurology, not Scientology. We know for a fact that it's a psychological trick of the brain to fill in missing information with something that makes sense. Faces are pretty fucking easy to recreate from things.
Literally everything. But let's say, because we didn't have phones back then, we didn't have all our modern innovations, right?
Well,
Science,
we do now, so now we know what we did not know. That's how learning works, is we get new information and learn. So
That's
now we
exactly what I
know the psychological effect called pareidolia. Huh?
Back to my point. Stories, books, right? Everything, like, from the faith I personally practice, everything was passed down orally, right? They didn't have a written language. And if we were to recreate that, then every lesson, every story would have to have a meaning. Otherwise, it would just get lost in translation. Like, for
Brother,
example,
you gotta land the plane, my G.
Hansel and Gretel.
What about
Right.
Hansel and Gretel? Well, how does that
Gentlemen-
prove a god? What the fuck?
I'm not proving a god right now, necessarily. I'm just proving how they seen things.
Sober, do you have anything you want to throw in here?
At what age were you diagnosed with schizophrenia?
I never said I seen things. How did I?
Oh shit, now I gotta go clean up.
Tell you what, I'll get more information. I'll come back.
Yeah, I think it's just like a psychological thing, brother. I don't know if
Yeah.
I think you're reading too deep into it.
No, but that's.
How you feel about that, Catholic?
It's why I do what I do, because
What happened?
like he asked me how I felt about that. Like, well, I do, like, there is, I believe, rich intellectual history within, especially the Catholic faith. Um, you know, and there's lots of just philosophical writings on just like even not like anything directly related to theism, just even tangentially related. But unfortunately, the people that do know that stuff as well as I do, if not better, aren't necessarily scrolling through TikTok to show up on live debates. And there's a lot of people that want to share their ideas, but it's not well formed.
I think this is just proof of when people don't understand something, they make shit up. You know what I mean? It seems to be the case a lot of it.
Well, yeah, that
Jaden, what the
aligns
fuck is wrong with your
historically.
phone?
Listen, okay, listen. All right, listen. Let me take you down TikTok fucking hates me lane. All right. Anytime I go on Teacup for longer than 3 seconds, I'm gone. I'm booted. And then the one time I had you drop me again was because for some reason my phone likes to do this thing where it fucks up the whole layout on my end only, and it looks so fucked up, so bad.
and then I just had a call that one other time. I had to go answer that, and besides that, TikTok just hates me going on Teacup.
Okay.
Always has. But yeah, that lines up historically. I mean, that's where
Jesus
most
loves you, my boy.
You are a fetus.
Yeet! I mean, I mean, that's where most religions come from, is because simply because of the fact that, oh, well, we don't understand this, so maybe this is why, or we can create something that makes no sense. Well, that makes sense to them during the time, and that's why I think Christianity had gotten so popular, is because of those religions during that time, is due to the fact that their creation story was made a lot more sense than what Greeks did, the Romans did, the Egyptians did. I mean, the Egyptian one is just really weird. There's like so many different variations of the Egyptian one. I'm pretty sure there's 3.
What are you going on about?
He said that it seems that when people don't understand something, they just talking about the God of the Gaps fallacy, and I just was adding on. Well, it's historically true. Most reason for religions is because humans didn't understand something, and then they equated it to a god.
Yeah.
Didn't understand the ocean. That equals Poseidon.
Lightning, fucking Thor, my G, still a fact to this day.
Did y'all hear about you heard like look at the trees?
Jesus,
there was a church father who did a look at the buttocks.
Are you serious?
Yes, his argument was so his argument was, isn't it so amazing that we have built-in seat cushions?
Brother.
Only a god could have done that.
Was he like was he being dead ass with this?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So
Christian pastor, or just like what kind of
no,
pastor was it?
a church father. So like this is like
Oh god.
So like this isn't to
Zero
say like church. So yeah, church fathers did not bat 100 out of 100. Like even Saint Augustine, who I greatly admire, had some really interesting ideas on how human reproduction works. But
speaking of, you know what? Sober Catholic? Why don't you guys debate?
Ooh, I'm down to
Give me
watch
one sec.
this
Give me
shit.
one sec.
You guys are always calling each other out. Let's do it.
Oh, sober
shit.
calls me out.
I know, I love it.
I can't think of a time I called sober out, but
I think I have grown too much of a bias to like you, and I feel bad for calling you out.
Okay, I don't mean the. Okay, I'm not trying to call you out, but I
Yeah,
just
you're
lack
fine.
the. I just lack the understanding of your argument.
Call him out. Get him. Get him.
So and that
Go
and
at
like
each other.
well the thing is I want to be called out. Like if there is a fallacy in my argument, or if one of the premises are true, then I need to know, because otherwise I'm looking a fool presenting it. So
Respect.
Gloves are off.
What sucks to admit is that I would probably have to. I mean, existence is how you define that. I found it slightly weird, but I think I would literally. I think I would have to make an internal critique. And the fact that you made it to that point is like actually crazy to me, because mostly you can like you know people make an argument and you're like, no,
this premise is false or something like that. Yeah.
Right, but you made it to that point, and I would have to argue relations like pretty heavily. I don't think personal relations among different people is even logically sound on a no potential God. It's like impossible.
So that's much further down in the argument. But the thing is that like my argument is designed to work within B theory of time, and B theory of time, if it is the case, which it seems very likely to be the case, says that all things, like all moments, are real, past, present, and future. And so you can't have change in the, or it's not that you can't have change, it's you can't have the movement from potentiality to actuality because all things are actual is the critique of against classical Aristotelian thought. This was just presented to me not too long ago, so I'm still looking into it, but I'm not sure I'm convinced of that critique.
So you're saying like
But
his actions already actualized. It's like so
yeah,
like if someone
so your critique, basically what I'm saying though is your critique applies not only to my God but to B theory of time.
sure I'm not fighting that it's actualized, right? I just don't believe something that's actualized can be personal.
Oh, and then that's a much further down my argument at this point in time. Like the argument that I have at this point in time is just trying to get to there is an singular independent thing whose identity is existence. Whether it's personal or not is an argument for much later, and I need to really dig a lot into because even when I was studying it, it did not make a whole lot of sense to me. The way Thomas Aquinas understands personhood is not intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
So that is definitely something that I need to look into, especially when I get to that part of the argument. But the argument as it is now is not concerned whether or not this independent thing has personhood or not. I'm not making that claim yet.
Sure. I do have one like question. I honestly like a lot of the stuff. I would have to look into your. If you can send me your full syllogism, I can like actually break it down and actually like,
I think I
disagree where I
sent it to you
disagree.
in DMs already.
Did you? All right, but I'll
Yeah,
look it up
like
again.
I think it was like one of the first messages I sent over to you.
Yeah, I remember now. My memory is really bad, but
You're good.
but would you define it like which do you hold to a model?
A model of
You're agnostic to a model, right? Like Big Crunch.
Oh
like-
no, so I do believe that there is a first and last moment, so I do believe in a finite universe, but my argument is created to be agnostic towards it.
And you believe there is a start and a beginning to an eternal universe?
No, I believe there is a first moment, but not a beginning in the sense of like there was at one point no universe and then there was a universe. So there's two eternality.
You hold the STE.
Yeah, so I do believe that there is an eternal universe. I don't believe that the universe has an infinite past.
Sure, it wouldn't be contradictory though if it was.
Not to my argument, no.
Okay.
To the Catholic belief system, yes, but not to the argument as I have it.
Okay,
currently.
so like infinite regret, like viscous. Is that what it's called, viscous or viscous?
Vicious, like
vicious.
violent. Yeah.
So vicious regress isn't contradictory, or like you don't think it's contradictory.
So no. So there's two types of infinite regress. You have benign and vicious infinite.
Yeah, benign is under B.
So benign would be the infinite eternal past, but the vicious comes into when we start trying to explain why it exists.
I don't think benign. I think first moment does apply to benign in a way, right? Because all benign says is that it explains the local chain, but not the global.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. No. So benign isn't about local or global. Like, so, have you heard of the homunculus fallacy?
I've heard it been said before. I haven't read in on it.
Okay, so the homunculus fallacy is effectively the regress that I'm talking about, and it was based on this old. It never really took off, but someone put forth this idea of the reason why we see is because there's this little homunculus that is inside your head that is seeing the stuff that you're seeing on a screen. And then the question is then asked, well, how does that homunculus see? Well, there's another little homunculus inside that homunculus that is seeing it on a screen. Well, how does that homunculus see? Well, there's another homunculus, and it's just so on and so forth to the point where,
you mean the Grim Reaper paradox?
yeah, where
Yeah, I don't hold that. No? You said you do hold to it or no?
Well, no, as in that is what I'm describing.
Yeah, I don't grant that. I don't think that that presupposes completion.
Well, no. So it doesn't require completion. So the point is that, like, so there's a difference between a benign regress and a vicious one. The vicious one is about explanation. So it can be the case that there is an infinite series of events in reality. That's benign, like, because there is going to be no completion. However, we're not talking about events occurring in time. What we're talking about is that there even is a reality to begin with. That is the completion, so to speak. So now the question is, how does that reality be? Is it its own reason to be? No. Then we need to find something that does explain it. Okay, and once we find that thing, is that its own reason to be? No, well then now we need to find something else. And that's when you get to the regress, because the completion is that there is something that is.
I mean, from just my brief reading of that paradox, I'll go deeper into it because there's a lot of stuff you need to grant for it to be sound, right? And
so this is like, it's not even a case of like grant. This is like the only contentions that you find in philosophy and logicians on this subject of the infinite regress is whether benign regresses exist or not. All of them agree that there is vicious regress, and vicious regresses are something to be avoided.
Oh, no, I do. I understand that.
Yeah, but there's debate on whether benign regresses exist or not. That's where the debate is.
Yeah, I hold the benign. I don't think there's any reason to not think it's true. Like, you can argue first event 100%, but there's also
I don't even need a first event is the point of the argument. Like, even if the entire like, if there is no first event, that's fine. But this question still remains, either the infinite, non-complete global chain is independent, where it doesn't require explanation, or it is dependent. If it is dependent, then whatever it's dependent on either needs to be independent or itself is dependent. Well, if it is dependent, now we're getting into that infinite regress, and we get to that point of where it's like, okay, so then because we have this completed thing of there is this thing that exists, that's the completion. Now we need to know.
I don't see the problem with dependency.
Well, no, it's not that there's a problem with dependency. The problem is, if everything is dependent, then there's no. So let me put it to you like this. You have a book, and it's resting on another book. That book that it's resting on explains why it's where it is in space, correct?
Yeah.
It's dependent on that previous book for its support. But now you need to ask, what is that other? Can that book that it's resting on, can that be its own reason for existing where it is?
It's not necessary.
Well, no, it can't, because if it wasn't resting on something else, it would fall, right?
Sure, but I'm not saying, like, it could be a brute fact. Like, we can say,
if it's a brute fact, it's independent.
No, I meant like an infinite regress is just something that occurs in an eternal universe, right?
Then the infinite regress itself is independent. That's all I care about. Is pointing that there is something that. Okay. Yeah, I'm not arguing that there is a beginning point to the infinite regress. I am saying that the infinite regress itself, either like the infinite world, the infinite past, is as a whole is either dependent on something, or it itself is self-explanatory. And if it is self-explanatory, then the third option of some things are dependent and some things are independent is true.
Sure. So we agree that an infinite regress isn't necessarily contradictory, right?
Correct.
Okay, so
It's only when it's infinite or vicious. I'm sorry.
vicious?
It's
Yeah,
only when it's
but
vicious.
right. So there's no way to determine if it's benign, right? There's no way to determine that right now. Right. Well, we can debate that at another time.
So let me put it so like an infinite past is always going to be benign.
Yeah.
The question is, does the chain itself need something to rest on, or can it be self-resting?
Sure. I guess what I'm saying is, like, if you agree that an infinite regress isn't necessarily contradictory under benign, then, but you're also pushing for a first moment, right?
No, I'm not pushing for a first moment.
You're not pushing for a first event? Then what would be caused at all?
My argument is not based on causation.
Sure. I'm saying how, under your view, right, how can a God cause something that you also view not to be caused?
God. So what I am arguing for is you have this. So what I'm trying to show is you have three options. Either everything is independent, which is trivially false. Everything is dependent, which is the argument that some people make. And then they, because of that infinite regress, they get to maybe it's the whole infinite regress chain is just a brute fact. That means the chain is independent, which means the third option is true, where there are some things that are dependent and some things are independent.
No,
but we have now that's all I'm worried about at that argument is, can we agree out of the three options that are available, which one's true?
I completely agree it's a mixture.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that I have to, your syllogisms are so good that I have to resort to internal critiques.
So, the thing is that if the premises are true and there is no fallacy, then the conclusions follow.
What I'm saying is that I don't grant that the universe can't be a brute fact.
So that's the next argument. Now that we've established that there has to be,
I don't grant your existence argument.
So then you don't even need to worry about the infinite problem. Now you need to show, because the infinite problem, all that shows is the need of, or the proof, or the truth of the third option being the case.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now that we've established that, then the next question is, what enables a thing to be infinite, and does the universe fit in that category? So the problem of infinite regress.
Infinite time? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Time by definition, if it's eternal, it's infinite.
Not necessarily. All eternal means it's just for all time, so you can have an eternal universe that still has a first and last moment.
Eternal means no beginning or end.
Not in astrophysics.
Not in what physics, sorry?
Astrophysics. It just means all of time. Because
wouldn't that include all of possible time, which would include and lead to infinity?
So science doesn't know if the universe had a first moment, or if it's eternal, or if it's infinite. Regardless if it has a first moment or is infinite, eternity just means all of time, whether from the first to the last moment or the infinite time. You have some people who will make a philosophical argument for there to be infinite time, and you have some people who make arguments for there being a finite amount of time. The argument as I present it doesn't care. Once we've established, though, that there is this at least one independent thing, now the next question is, can we identify what enables a thing to be independent?
Okay.
And that's the third argument.
Yeah. I grant all the way up to the mixture of independence, and then I have to break down that last part. But I have to read about that or something.
The independent one, yeah. People get hung up on that infinite regress thing, and I don't know why, because I don't care if the universe
people don't understand what it is, so I always assume that they have an issue with it. That's kind of just it's instinctual at this point. But I'm going to see Mortal Kombat 2, so I have to
Have fun.
leave.
My girlfriend loves Mortal Kombat, so
Dude,
I'm
I
actually
say that.
surprised she hasn't brought it up. But
Yeah, once I say fatality, I'm gonna start doing stuff. All right. Peace out, Cat. That is a hell of an argument, though.
thank you. But yeah, like I said, I don't care if the universe has an infinite past or not for the argument.
Well, I do have a question though. Of like,
Yeah.
just real quick before I head out. So if you can you keep it short and simple, just for me? If let's say I grant all your premises and the conclusion follows, if there's contradictions within your God, wouldn't that mean that it's just false by definition?
It would mean that my understanding of God is false. And if what I have reason to hear, like if everything follows from what I've reason to hear and it contradicts with my belief in Catholicism, then that means that my belief in Catholicism is false, but not necessarily this independent thing that I've reason to.
So a potential deity is real, but not
I haven't
your...
I haven't yet proven in this argument that it is mine, but that's the goal of the bigger project, essentially.
Sure, I think your argument grants for me that it's possible, which no one's gotten me that far, so that's really impressive, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, I appreciate it.
But you guys have a really good night.
Adios,
you too.
Bro.
Yeah, infinite regress. That's the one that always trips people up, and I can't figure out a way to explain it other than repeat. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out a way to better explain that.
Well, I mean, I have no problem with it.
No other guess, I'm guessing?
Yeah, no, it's finally died down. That was a day. Good grief. Yeah, this has been a day of just pure stupidity, straight up. Oh man, yeah, I'm glad that you guys had that conversation, because I don't think we're going to get a good conversation today, except for third eye crap. His argument put you to sleep. Yeah, I was off doing my own thing too. But all right, well, we're just shy of 4 hours. YouTube's completely dead. TikTok's still it's pretty much dead, so I think we'll go on ahead and call it a night.
Well, thanks for having me up and help.
I love having you up, and the fact that you were able to do that was pretty impressive.
I've been doing this for a long time.
I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one or sometime soon, all right?
Yep. You have a good one.
All right, adios. Appreciate everyone being here. We'll go on ahead and end it. We got some videos that are live as well. If you guys want to go check those out, like and hype on them, get them out in the algorithm. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you guys. And YouTube, you know that you are my absolute favorites, even though there's only 8 of you in here right now. Holy crap, since when does TikTok have more views than YouTube? Anyways, you guys have a good night. Love you guys.